Also this afternoon here on BBC Radio Devon, Plymouth Argyle against Sutton United. Ian Foster in charge. Alan Seabrook, Katie Middleton, DAB Digital Radio, 95.7 FM and BBC Sounds for this one.
Yeah, thanks James. Welcome to Home Park. The two sides out on the field and are about to kick off, and once I get a second and the ball drops into touch, maybe I can give you a reprise of the starting lineup. But just to let you know, Argyle makes 6 changes this afternoon, with Edwards, Galloway and Miller coming in at the back. Cundle and Wright to the midfield. Freddie Isaka will be up top. It will be Sutton United through Buteman kicking from right to left in this first half, attacking the Devonport end. Buteman then it will be to get the game underway. Stood just a few yards inside the Argyle half at the moment. I just run through that Argyle starting lineup as the referee gets this off and underway, and the ball is played back to the right back spot, and then a longer ball upfield. It's helped on its way by Argyle. Argyle though will defend that on the edge of their own box. Helped for by Callum Wright, flicked forward once again by Sutton United down the right hand side. They try to lift the ball infield. Isaaca's there with a little deflection, then nice little triangle of players from Argyle, feeds the ball up towards halfway. Nobody getting their foot on the ball at the moment, but now Joe Edwards should do. Inside right foot channel, plays it out to this near side, finds Morgan Whittaker, plays it backwards to square with the instep of the left boot into his own half, finds Galloway, and Galloway will square that off for Dan Scarr, and I will very quickly give you the Argyle lineup. Hazard in goal, it's Edwards, Scarr, Galloway and Miller across the back, Cundle, Randell, Callum Wright in the midfield, and it's Whittaker and Hardy and Freddie Isaka up at top for Argyle. So Argyle starting then with a strong lineup, joined by Katie Middleton. Katie, I'd much prefer teams to start with a strong lineup than then have to chase the game and maybe overexert their better players later in the game.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity again to see what this starting sort of 11 of Argyle are all about today, and hopefully get an early foothold in the game. If they can score nice and early on, it just relaxes everybody, and then you can look to get some of your fringe players minutes again. But yeah, good to have a strong starting lineup, and like I say, hopefully get on top early.
The ball then with Dan Scarr, rolls it with the sole of his boot, inside right channel, about 10 yards inside his own half, plays it into the midfield for Luke Cundle, plays it all the way back for Hazard, off to the left hand side for Galloway, squares it to his centre defensive partner Dan Scarr, left footed will play it to the near side for Joe Edwards. Edwards pokes it forward, little triangle there, finds Morgan Whittaker, neat little flick off there by Luke Cundle, but it's just a little wayward and it's going to be picked up by Sutton, but Argyle will win it back, and then it's played forward down the right hand side for Morgan Whittaker. Whittaker has Cundle making a little run to his left, tries to cross it into the middle, it's hooked away though by Buteman up towards halfway, picked up by Galloway, controls it with the instep of the left boot, and then finds Randell in lots of room, and a little dummy there from Cundle, a little bit too clever, because Whittaker didn't quite read that one, otherwise he may well have been in, but Whittaker on his heels just a little bit, couldn't get to that one. Ball runs out, it's going to be a goal kick to Sutton, as I say, kicking from right to left in this first half, and their goalkeeper just spots it up and backs away into his goal as a seagull flies across Home Park, and the ball now lifted up over halfway. Heads go up, headed forward by Argyle, looking to get Ryan Hardy in through the centre of the field, but it's won now by Sutton United, but Argyle always having a little bit more of a toe in there, and eventually it's played out to this right hand side for Morgan Whittaker, trundles down the line, it's a crab like motion, plays the ball infield, picks out Ryan Hardy, back for Edwards, Edwards infield for Luke Cundle, exchange of passes, and he played across the field to Galloway, centre field on the halfway line, out to the left hand side. Argyle then looking to build through Freddie Isaka, and he just plays it off right footed for Randell, centre field, and he plays it backwards to square again for Dan Scarr. Scarr rolls it into the midfield. Luke Cundle, surrounded by yellow shirts, steps away from a couple, finds Randell off to the left hand side now for Callum Wright. Callum Wright toe pokes one into the middle, it's intercepted by Sutton United, they lift it forward for Argyle and it helps it on its way, but good work there from the Argyle central defensive partnership. We had Scarr to the centre forward's back, and then behind him was Galloway just to pick up the pieces. Argyle then coming forward through the centre of the field, and they just try to pick up Morgan Whittaker there, couldn't quite latch on to the end of that one. Had he done so, he'd have been on the edge of the area looking to get the shot in. Well, I guess apart from the fact that this is a free hit, Katie Middleton for Sutton United, which is always a danger, is there a danger of maybe the Argyle players just trying to impress too much with the new manager in the stadium?
Yeah, I think it's there's always a chance that happens, but I think Argyle have started the game quite well. They've been trying to keep the ball on the floor, trying to play through the thirds as much as they can and maintain possession, and it's bought them a free kick in a dangerous area with the likes of Adam Randall and Morgan Whittaker over the ball.
Tis Whittaker, this is maybe set up nicely for him. I would think he would fancy having a bit of a poke from here. It's a two-man Sutton United wall just inside their own area. Whittaker does come up, curls it into the area. Sutton get ahead on that one. The ball goes away for a corner kick there for Argyle. It was Milson, I think, with the header just putting it away. Corner then on the far side to be taken by Adam Randall. Takes the applause from the Argyle Green Army on the far side and applauds them back again. So Randall then just raises a right arm, then raises a left arm. He comes up now, right-footed, plays it flat to the near post for Callum Wright. Into the middle for Morgan Whittaker on the stretch. The ball popped into the air. He got the shot away though. It's cleared away by Sutton United, and Argyle forced backwards to Mickey Miller, but as they do, there's a nasty crunching tackle on Luke Cundall, who goes to ground, and that was a nasty tackle there.
Yeah, just slightly late. I think the Sutton players are trying to impress us and kind of make it difficult for the Argyle players, not allowing them any time on the ball, but a couple of little late tackles on particularly Luke Cundall, who's finding those little pockets of space and looking dangerous so far for Argyle.
It's the trouble for the opposition with a player like Luke Cundall, because he just covers every blade of grass. You never know where he's going to pop up, do you?
Yeah, and I think one thing that's evident sort of early on today is, whereas Argyle normally play with two holding midfielders, it looks as though Luke Cundall's playing slightly higher, and it allows him, like I said, to get into those little areas, pockets of space in between the lines, and get on the ball frequently.
Free kick then for Argyle, inside left channel, clipped into the penalty area. The heads go up at the far post. Stan Scar won't get onto the end of that one. Neither will Luke Cundall. The ball's looped away into the sky by Sutton United. It's going to bounce into touch on the near side, halfway inside the Sutton United half. Joe Edwards collects the ball, looking for a runner. Nobody moving at the moment. Luke Cundall's there, but he has to go all the way back in the end to Dan Scar. Controls it with the left instep, and then with the right boot switches the play to the far side for Galloway, and Galloway just stands on the ball. Nobody coming towards him in a yellow Sutton United shirt, and it goes back to Scar. Scar then down the right hand side where he picks up Morgan Whittaker. Morgan Whittaker drops the shoulder, plays it left footed infield, finds Randall off to his left for Mickey Miller. The ball played forward, and Argyle now through Freddie Isaka trying to burst up towards the edge of the penalty area. It breaks loose for Edwards with a shot. It's going to be another corner for Argyle, but Argyle looking busy on the edge of the penalty area at the moment.
Yeah, excitement when Freddie Isaka gets on the ball as well. This Argyle crowd are excited to see what he's got in him, and looking lively from the off.
If I was a betting man, I think I'd have Isaka and Whittaker to score this afternoon, if I was a betting man. Corner then on the right hand side for Argyle. It's going to be Miller to take this. He has Callum Wright short if he needs him, but he goes longer all the way to the back post. That's comfortable for the keeper, who emerges from the pack to the far side of the 6-yard box and just grabs the ball out of the sky, and then comes to the edge of his penalty area. Ryan Hardy's right in front of him, just to discourage him from maybe playing a shorter ball or rolling it out. But everyone moves into the middle portion of the field now, so Sutton United will go long down the right hand side. Galloway's there, and Galloway goes to ground, but that's neat footwork there coming in from Mikael Miller, and Miller will find Cundall, who rolls the ball out to this near side where he finds Morgan Whittaker. Whittaker on the ball, pokes it down the line, finds Cundall, back to Joe Edwards. Edwards just slightly infield for Whittaker, and Whittaker pings the ball from the centre of the field out to the left hand side. Nicely taken down there by Isaka. Ball into the middle, cleared away by Sutton United. It's going to find touch on the far side. Throw in then for Argyle. Mikael Miller to take this. Once we get some movement, Callum Wright comes across, and then he, on a little hop into the air, just plays the ball back to Miller, and it goes all the way back to Randall, and Randall under pressure will play it back for Brendan Galloway, and Galloway left-footed stabs it into the midfield, and then it's fed on to the right-hand side for Argyle for Dan Scar. Scar then will play the ball down the right-hand side for Morgan Whittaker, who finds Cundall under a lot of pressure, but he'll go backwards and find Edwards, and Edwards will play it backwards a square to Galloway, just inside the Argyle half, inside left channel. He pokes it into the midfield where he finds Callum Wright, and Callum Wright will play the ball off now for Dan Scarr, who comes forward a few yards and then stands on the ball, plays it off to his right hand side for Joe Edwards through the inside right channel, little arcing run, and then he finds Randall will poke it into the midfield where he finds Callum Wright, and Wright will play it off to the left hand side for Miller, and Miller will come in field. He's under a lot of pressure though, but he spins away from a couple of challenges. He's now in the penalty area. Will he get to the dead ball line? He won't. He's conceded the free kick, but Argyle once again testing the Sutton United back line.
Yeah, there's a good opportunity today for Mikael Miller to show what he's all about. He's been a little bit sort of inconsistent at times throughout the season, hasn't necessarily had a run in the starting lineup, so he's an exciting player who can get down that left-hand side and make things happen, and his link-up play today with Izaka will be key to how Argyle fare in this one.
I think you put your finger on Mikael Miller's problem, really. He's an exciting player, he'll make things happen. Going forward, he's very good, and yes, he can defend, but I think he's lost out to Brennan Galloway at this level, because you need someone who's more of a defensive defender, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I think he's almost one of those players who sort of fits that Bali Mumba role as well, as a wing back maybe, as opposed to a full back, but he's got his opportunity today to show what he's about in both aspects. He'll probably have a little bit of freedom today, less defensive work and more attacking play from him.
Throwing on the far side then for Sutton United, wide on the right hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. Jackson is going to take this one. He just backs away to the advertising hoarding. Plenty of Sutton players forward, but they're still outnumbered by green shirts. A few Sutton players lining up on the edge of the penalty area. So Jackson then backs away, and he's going to come up now, throw the ball into the penalty area, into the 6-yard box. It's helped on its way across the 6-yard box, and for a moment there, a little bit of danger for Argyle, but nobody in a yellow shirt could get on the end of that one, and Argyle will take the ball away through Morgan Whittaker, who finds the willing run of another Argyle player, and then it's played down the right hand side for Ryan Hardy. Hardy just swings on the ball under pressure, plays it backwards, picks out Edwards rolls it into the middle, and Argyle now trying to flick the ball over the top down the right hand side. They won't find Morgan Whittaker, and the ball will drop into touch for a throw in for Argyle. Thrown in quickly, find Ryan Hardy, back to goal, a long way out from goal though, but he will turn and he will get the shot away. It takes a deflection and drift into touch for yet another corner, and Argyle territorially definitely having the better of things in these opening stages.
Yeah, Ryan Hardy's going to look to pick up the ball in those areas, and unless the Sutton players go and close him down, he's a player who likes to get his shots away, so something for the Sutton back line and deep midfielders to be wary of.
Corner then on the far side for Argyle. Both arms raised, it comes up right foot and clips it into the penalty area once again. Nicely taken by the goalkeeper. With fairness, he didn't have anyone pressuring him in a green shirt, and then he scampers to the edge of the penalty area and raises one arm and just says, let's calm this down a little bit at the back. But it comes to this near side, and then Sutton looking to build through the midfield again, but they go backwards now for Gape, and Gape will on the ball, and it's played into the midfield. Now it's Gape out to the right hand side. Sutton under a lot of pressure, but trying to make some progress down their left hand side. Argyle on the ball, but Adam Randall comes in and takes the ball away, and we'll play it all the way back for Hazard, who rolls it out for Dan Scarr. Scarr then plays it off to the far side. That's the inside left channel for Argyle, where it's picked up by Galloway. Galloway will roll the ball back across the field, where he picks up Dan Scarr, pokes it in front of himself just a few yards, then comes forward and plays it off to Galloway once again into the midfield. Callum Wright on the ball, turns and strides forward. A little exchange of passes with Mickey Miller, then the ball goes down the left hand side for Izaka, and Izaka will keep that in, but he will win a throw in on the far side, down by the corner flag. That's the Argyle left, and the throw in taken quickly. It goes backwards for Callum Wright. The ball exchange of passes will find Callum Wright once again, but he has to work hard to keep it, and then we'll play it off to the far side for Mikael Miller. Roll back into the middle once again, a little shove in the back there of Izaka, and Sutton United now can break through the centre of the field. They play it out to the near side for Coley, and Coley tries to play it forward with the outside the right boot. Argyle will intercept that one momentarily, and they have the ball again in the midfield, and they play it backwards for Clay, and Clay will lay it off to the right hand side for Suwonmi, and Suwonmi goes wide to the right hand side, and it's little triangles now. The ball then goes for Kizzy, and Kizzy tries to feed that forward, and Argyle will fight for the ball in the form of Mikael Miller right in the centre field, inside left channel, but they will concede a free kick just inside the Sutton United half, and their goalkeeper's come all the way out from his goal, just a yard or two inside the Sutton United half to take this for Sutton United. It's almost 15 minutes on the clock, 14 in fact on the clock. It remains Argyle 0, Sutton United 0. Nobody really dominating play in terms of chances at the moment. Sutton will be pleased about that. And goal on the ball, and he gets nudged to the ground by Dan Scarr, and I guess that is the story of it so far. We haven't seen an awful lot of chances, not really. Neither goalkeeper's been tested, and Sutton, you'd think, will probably be happy enough with that.
Yeah, certainly. I think they're just starting to get a little foothold in the game, and probably their first sort of period of possession in the last 3 or 4 minutes. So they'll be pleased that the scoreline's still 0-0, that they've managed to snuff out any real dangerous opportunities for Argyle. So their chance to have a little go at attacking now.
And they curl the free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's knocked down. Argyle will help it away from goal, and then the ball is aimed goalwards on the spin, and it's Angol who tries to get a little header forward. Sutton won't allow Argyle to clear this from the penalty area, and they maintain possession. They finally get it off to the left hand side, but it's going to be a free kick for Argyle. Dan Scarr down in the penalty area, but just for a moment. Good lift on a little spin and shot, but it's more lifted it into the air than anything, and it remains Argyle 0, Sutton United 0. It's not been the greatest cup tie I've ever seen so far. We have very few chances, just the 4 so far, all for Argyle, but nothing on target. Neither goalkeeper tested yet, and you just hope that at some point Argyle can up the pace. And what it maybe needs is a goal. The ball then with Dan Scarr. Scarr just controls it with the sole of his boot, and then lays it off to the right hand side for Joe Edwards. Edwards comes infield now, and then plays it backwards to Dan Scarr on the edge of the Argyle penalty area, inside right channel, comes forward once again, and under a little bit of pressure from Angol, will play it back to Hazard, who plays it off to the far side for Galloway, knocks it into the midfield for Callum Wright, and Callum Wright, cheeky little ball forward, but it's a bit too cheeky, and it's picked up now by Buteman for Sutton United, but Sutton are forced backwards, and Suonmi will play a longer ball forward, and it's an offside against Sutton United striker and goal, and Argyle take it quickly, and they switch it down the right hand side and play it over the top, trying to get Morgan Whittaker away, but Whittaker won't get onto the end of that one, and Sutton will pick the ball up once again. They play it into the midfield. Coley, White on the right hand side, back to Milson. Milson will feed it forward, and it's laid off by Clay to Coley down the left hand side, and Coley looking to break in on the right hand side. He's got support on the right edge of the penalty. It's clipped back across the face of goal. Buteman won't get on the end of that one. Good work there with the body of Joe Edwards, who just got his body between the man and the ball and allowed it to run away before clearing the ball upfield, and that's a great ball out of defence from Argyle. They switch it from right to left, off to the far side. Freddie Azaka then closing in on goal, comes into the middle, shot from Callum Wright, keeper saves it, a second shot, and it bounces into the net, and Argyle have a goal on the break through the inside left channel. It was Azaka with the shot. Eventually it was saved by the goalkeeper, but it bounces out. Luke Cundall's there, the keeper gets a hand to it, can't stop it, then it drifts into the back of the net, and it is Argyle 1, Sutton 0.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball from Morgan Whittaker initially to spray the ball out wide to the left hand side to Freddie Azaka, and he cuts inside and finds the feet of Hardy, who lays it off into Callum Wright, and Callum Wright has a good first effort on goal. It's actually a fairly decent save by the goalkeeper, but Luke Cundall, as all attacking midfielders did, was following in and manages to squeeze the ball underneath the keeper, who was maybe unfortunate not to save the follow-up effort as well.
How much is that going to change the game? Because Sutton will have come with a game plan. They're only a goal behind. I'm assuming that unless they came here for a 0-0, that they were expecting maybe to have a chance and score at some point. Does it change things, or are they going to be... have they got to come out now? No,
I don't think it'll change anything for the minute. I think it's very much a case of still sitting in, being difficult to beat. You know, they don't want Argyle to run away with this now and get a little bit of confidence behind them. So, yeah, still sit in, make it difficult for Argyle, and then look to try and play on the counter-attack as much as they can still.
Ball then with Argyle outside their penalty area. Dan Scarr rolls it into the midfield for Callum Wright, plays it backwards for Galloway. Galloway off to the left-hand side for Mickey Miller, and then it's back for Callum Wright. And it's played back for Galloway into the midfield once again. Argyle looking to build down that left-hand side, and then they will feed the ball through once again. Great run in behind by Callum Wright. But he's just mistimed that slightly. It's going to be offside. Argyle lead by 1-0. Tuned to BBC Radio. Devon and Argyle hopefully on their way to the fourth round draw of the FA Cup. But yeah, a nice ball from Whittaker out of defence. Found Isaka down the left-hand side. Plays it in. Hardy finds Kundal. His first shot was well saved, and the second one just seemed to squirm past the unfortunate goalkeeper. But they all count. The ball then flicked on down the left-hand side by Argyle, but they're going to lose possession. Clay will have it, rolls it into the right edge of the Argyle penalty area for Angol, and Angol plays it backwards, and Kizzy will play it down the right-hand side, and the Sutton United player down the right-hand side has to shield his eyes from the sun. Ball into the middle from that right wing cross, and it's going to be picked up by Sutton United, and swung cross into right-footed into the penalty area, bounces once on the green and off the back. But for a moment there, Sutton United just getting the ball into the danger zone a couple of times, but nobody really on the end of it. Nice ball in from Coley in the end, but it just bounced all the way through and out of play. But Joe Edwards, I think, has looked really intelligent a couple of times with the use of his body. He's saying to the guy, you have to run through me if you want to get to the ball, and you can't do that. Yeah,
he's an experienced defender, and he's been an important player for Argyle so far this season, and you can use that experience to your advantage and just get your body in the way, like you say, to prevent any opportunities for Sutton.
And it's Sutton on the ball now, centre field. They play it into their midfield for Milson. Milson in for Clay. Clay plays it off for Kizzy down the right hand side. He's under a lot of pressure. Argyle nearly winging the ball back, and Mikael Miller on the far side is also putting the pressure on. Sutton now having to work at pace in order to get the ball forward, and as they do, it goes onto the head of Galloway, but it's going to be picked up centre field now by Sutton United. They play it to this near side for Milson, and Milson will come forward over halfway, controls it with the left boot, plays it into the middle. The exchange of passes, a give and go, but the give was given, but the go didn't come along, and so Sutton are forced now to go backwards for Goodliff, and Goodliff, he's just beckoning to someone to come towards him for a pass. He's looking for a ball, and a bit of frustration there, and in the end he's going to have to go long, looping the ball over the top. That should be comfortable for Dan Scarr. It goes over his head, but fortunately the referee gives the free kick to Argyle, which they take quickly through Hazard just inside his own penalty area. Picks out Galloway, centre field, then trundles forward with the ball. He's got Miller on the left hand side. Miller coming up towards halfway, but then he's forced backwards for Galloway. And Argyle, this patient football, they play it across the back line for Dan Scarr. Scarr left-footed will play it to this near side for Luke Kundal, the scorer for Argyle on 18 minutes. And Argyle once again looking patient and looking to get runners in maybe, and this time the angled ball from left to right that's going to just skip on through, and it's going to be Joe Edwards, and he never gives those up, but it will just defeat him. I've always said about Joe Edwards that people say that he leaves it all out there, and I said no, he doesn't, because even if where you and I or anyone else would have left it out there, he's still got more to go. Yeah, he's got bundles of energy, hasn't he? It's a bit like Ryan Hardy. I think sometimes you think, oh, why is he bothering, and then he gets something out of it. So yeah, players that are important with that kind of work rate and attitude. Ball then with Dan Scarr, heads it forward. It's only going to drop onto a Sutton United head, but the header forward by Sutton United will find Callum Wright. Callum Wright finds Galloway in the centre of the defence, and then back to Wright, plays it left-footed off to the far side for Miller. Miller then under pressure and finding his way blocked, will play the ball infield for Isaka, and that's a nice ball. Can Ryan Hardy get there? He can't, it just eluded him. Keeper comes out, slides at Hardy's feet, and it remains Argyle 1, Sutton United 0, 23 minutes on the clock. Tuned to BBC Radio Devon. The ball then with the Sutton United goalkeeper, who takes his time to clear the ball upfield. I think Freddie Isaac has had quite a good start to the game, and he's obviously thinking about what he's doing. That was a nice ball through it, just a little bit too much pace on it for Ryan Hardy.
Yeah, really good little reverse pass inside, and I think the link-up play between Azaka and Hardy's been good so far. Hardy just unable to control that initial pass in, but yeah, like you say, Azaka's had a lively start to the game, and one that he'll be really pleased and look to build upon.
So it's Argyle 1, Sutton United 0. It's going to be a free kick, I think, for Sutton away on the far side. That's their right hand side. It's about 10 yards from the dead ball line. Milsom goes across to look to take this one, as I imagine it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger, possibly into the 6-yard box. Crowd of players all around the penalty spot. A couple, 2 or 3 loose green shirts, and the yellow shirts of Sutton are all in a bit of a conga at the moment, just spreading out from around that penalty spot. The free kick then comes in from the right hand side. Heads go up, punched away by Hazard. The shot comes in, takes a deflection. It was Kizzy with the effort that went through. He hit one of his own players. Not sure it was going in anyway, but it just bounced out, and it will be a goal kick for Argyle, which they take quickly, and they find Dan Scarrow. Curls one with the instep upfield, and Argyle, what can they break down the right hand side? They can't quite. Joe Edwards managed to get a toe in, but it was just too far ahead of Morgan Whittaker, and we'll go into touch on the left hand side of Sutton United. Look at it, it's going to be Milsom then to take this for the visitors this afternoon. Argyle lead by 1-0. Luke Cundall on 18 minutes with the goal, but apart from that, it's been fairly cagey, fairly edgy. Not your typical FA Cup final, I don't think. Not too many chances of note, but well, we've had 2 shots on target, and both of them, I think, were surrounded the goal. Callum Wright will play the ball forward, looking for Ryan Hardy. Puts pressure on me. He turns and plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, and his clearance upfield is a poor one. Hits Ryan Hardy. I don't think he was ready for that one. The ball bounces into the air, and it's picked up by Argyle now, who'll play it down the inside left channel. Ball played with the outside of the right boot by Isaka, and it's just beyond the outstretched toe of Ryan Hardy in the penalty area. The clearance though from Sutton, not good. Picked up by Joe Edwards, has to turn, play it backwards for Morgan Whittaker. Rolls it with the sole of his boot. He's heading towards the dead ball line, trying to feed his way in field, but he's finally taken out by 2 Sutton United players. But the clearance only goes as far as Randall. Randall plays it in field, picked up by the ever-moving Luke Cundall, the goal scorer for Argyle so far this afternoon. But what a ball that was. Freddie Isaka outside the right boot across the 6-yard box. Yeah,
fantastic technique on it. And again, that link-up play that we've seen between Isaka and Hardy, their understanding seems to be building as the game's going on, and just slightly ahead of Ryan Hardy, couldn't quite get a toe to it, but another good sort of build-up play and or nearly moment for Argyle again.
Throw in then for Sutton United down the left hand side. Milsom plays it on, it goes over Angol's head, and then Sutton try to break through the inside left channel, throw through Buterman, but the ball will just roll into touch. But it's going to be a throw in for Sutton United, I think, down the left hand side. It certainly is. Milsom into the side this afternoon, playing as a left wing back. Sutton United kicking from right to left in this first half. Argyle defending the Devonport end. The ball though at the moment with Argyle. Edwards is there, plays it backwards. It's a very casual and comfortable passing around the edge of the penalty area for Argyle, but the ball back to Hazard is a little more heart in mouth. But Sutton will clear the ball forward as Argyle try to go forward, but Argyle need to get their foot on the ball maybe just at the moment. It's been passed around by Sutton more than Argyle. A few balls on the stretch. It's Gape on the ball, plays the ball through the inside right channel for Sutton United. That's comfortable for Mikael Miller, who plays it back for Hazard, left-footed, up over halfway. Ryan Hardy tries to get on the end of that one, but it's not going to win that, as his marker is just a bit bigger than he is. And the ball then played into midfield, but it's by Sutton United, but it's a poor ball. Joe Edwards has the ball, and he has Cundall to his left. Cundall on into the area, and he puts it just wide of the target. Sloppy bit of play in the midfield from Sutton United. Joe Edwards alive to it as ever, races through the centre of the field. Cundall made up yards on his left, got into the area, shot goes wide of the target, but again Argyle go close.
Yeah, it was Coley, I think, for Sutton, who gave the ball away, and Joe Edwards live to it and gets on it nice and early, drives forwards, and as we've spoken about all game, Luke Cundall's looked lively and got into that area, and it's just taken a deflection which has taken it past the keeper's left-hand post.
Miller then with the corner on the right-hand side for Argyle. He raises both hands to the sky, and then he'll come up now, left-footed, and curl it into the penalty area. Heads go up, it's cleared away by Sutton United. Luke Cundall, the goal scorer for Argyle on the afternoon, will turn and play this backwards. It's picked up by Edwards, wide on the left-hand side now, bends the ball to this near side, looking for Morgan Whittaker, and finds him. Whittaker, first time left-footed ball down the line for Callum Wright, and Callum Wright tries a cheeky little ball into the back line of Sutton United, hoping that Ryan Hardy will just get ahead of his man. Good lift, but it's cleared away to this near side, but for a throw in, and Argyle will pick it up now. Randall on the ball, plays it off to the left-hand side for Cundall. Cundall, right-footed, stabs it in, looking for a little give and go, but the give is there but not the go, and Argyle will have to fight to win the ball back, and that's what they do, and actually they win it fairly easily, halfway inside the Sutton United half. Callum Wright looking to poke a ball forward and then get on the end of the return pass, but the return pass a little wayward, but Whittaker on halfway will win the ball back for Argyle, and then it's squared to the far side, inside left channel for Galloway. Galloway comes over halfway, left-footed, plays it forward for Isaka, and Isaka plays it forward once again, and that's a nice ball out to the left-hand side for Miller. Miller plays it back to the penalty spot, but nobody in a green shirt there, and Sutton United will get the ball forward to Argyle, and Argyle is hauled to the ground by Dan Scarr. It's going to be a free kick for Sutton United on the halfway line, inside left channel, and a chance for Sutton maybe just to move the ball away from danger, but at times Katie Middleton, Argyle are playing some nice football around the Sutton United area, and they're not so far away from maybe getting a second.
Yeah, some good intricate build-up play again, and Callum Wright plays one round the corner for the third man run of Mikael Miller that time, and again it's just that kind of nearly moment where had he maybe whizzed it across the edge of the 6-yard box, Hardy's there, and Isaka wasn't quite where the pullback was around the edge of the box, but more promising moments for Argyle as Sutton play this ball forwards.
They do, up towards the edge of the area. It's helped on its way into the box, but it'll bounce a couple of times into the hands of Hazard, who comes running out level with the penalty spot and then bowls it out to Joe Edwards down the right hand side, moves forward. He's forced to turn full circle, plays it into the middle. He can't find Randall, and Sutton United will look to pick up the loose pieces, but it goes only as far as Galloway. Rolls it out to the far side for Mikael Miller. Miller then coming forward. He's got a little bit of pressure, and he'll play it infield for Randall, and then it goes back to Miller, wide on the left-hand side. Picks out Galloway, left-footed, plays it across the edge of the penalty area for Scarr, and Scarr to Edwards on this near side, and Edwards just will poke that back into the feet of Dan Scarr, and he rolls it into the midfield, and it's comfortable for Randall, and at the moment Argyle just happy to maintain a little bit of possession and maybe hope that Sutton will just sit back and let them play, and that certainly seems to be the case for Galloway, who had a lot of room there to work in and move forward in, which he did take advantage of, but it's won by Sutton now down their right hand side. Galloway goes across, gets his body between man and ball, gets a shove in the back. It's going to be a free kick for Argyle, which they take quickly on wide on the left hand side. Then it's switched to this near side for Joe Edwards, and Edwards curling ball down the line, finds Morgan Whittaker, and Whittaker on the ball. He has time and space just to move forward and then find Callum Wright, but Sutton United will pick up the loose pieces, and they play it forward for Argyle, and Argyle, the centre forward for Sutton United, under pressure will play the ball backwards. That's a nice little touch on the centre half for Sutton United, good lift, and they just tidy up at the back, but Argyle with the enthusiasm and youthful exuberance of Freddie Isaka will just get the ball into touch on the far side. Kizzy it was on the ball, and he will take the throw in now for Sutton United away on the right hand side. Argyle lead by a goal to nil, 32 minutes on the clock, and it was Luke Cundall on 18 minutes that's given Argyle the lead. The ball then headed in field by Sutton United, and Argyle just a more agricultural ball upfield, looking for the run of Ryan Hardy, but it's picked up by Sutton, who played off for Milsom, left-footed down to this near side, where they find Coley, and Coley instantly under pressure from Joe Edwards, gets the left boot to that and knocks it into touch on the near side. Throw in then for Sutton United. Argyle lead by a goal to nil. Tuned to BBC Radio Devon, the goal for Argyle on 18 minutes. Luke Cundall after a nice build-up down the left-hand side, gets the shot away, the keeper saved it, bounced back to Cundall, and he managed to just squirm it past the goalkeeper somewhere. The ball, though, is with Clay now for Sutton United. Tries to switch the play to the far side, but it's Mickey Miller underneath that one, and to clear it away. And while Sutton United picks it up, Miller, that little bit more determined and aggressive down the left-hand side, wins the ball once again, but as he tries to break upfield, he's brought to ground. Free kick then for Sutton United, for Argyle, and the referee's just saying, well, hang on a minute, whoa, you take this free kick, but Miller was away there just for a moment.
Yeah, I think it's Kizzy who's gone into the book. Miller certainly was looking to break, and it's one of those unfortunate ones where the player just run across him and he's clipped his heels, but yeah, a yellow card for stopping a promising counter-attack for Argyle.
Ball then with Dan Scarr inside right channel, halfway inside the Argyle half, right-footed, stabs it into the midfield for Randell, and Randell will lay that off first time for Galloway, who just moves forward, and then left-footed will clip it to the near side, looking for Morgan Whittaker. Whittaker takes it very nicely as it hits the ground, and he's coming in field now. Left-footed will play that off to the left-hand side, looking for Freddie Ozaka, but it's cleared away by Sutton United. Mikael Miller will chase back into his own half, wide on the left-hand side. He's under quite a bit of pressure there, so he's going to have to turn and play it backwards for Galloway, and Galloway stands on the ball and drags it once again away from Argyle. The Sutton United striker plays it back for Hazard. Hazard left-footed, then will square it to Dan Scarr, edge of the penalty area, comes forward a few yards looking for some movement, and he will find it in the form of Callum Wright, whose first touch is a little heavy. It pops into the air, but he recovers the situation. Argyle, though, on the back foot momentarily, and they play it down the line looking for Mikael Miller, but Sutton United will clear it away to the far side, and it's picked up now once again by Miller, and Miller will roll it infield, and he can't get to his own pass, so it's picked up by Buterman. Buterman will play it wide down the right hand side for Jackson. Jackson tries to play it infield for Sutton United, who just for a moment have a little bit of possession inside the Argyle half, and they go back to Milsom, and then it's a little bit of pressure from Argyle this time, and it goes back to Goodliff, and Goodliff will shrug his way past two Argyle players on halfway and make some yards into the Argyle half. Picked up now by Clegg, controls it with the outside the right boot, plays it wide down the left hand side. A little exchange of passes will get Coley away, will it, for Sutton United? It won't, and it will go past Clay and into touch on this near side. It's going to be a throw-in for Argyle, halfway inside their own half. Joe Edwards then to take it. Clock away to my right hand side says 36 minutes. It also says Argyle 1, Sutton United 0. And the ball then with Galloway, rolls it into the midfield. Callum Wright comes short just to pick the ball up, and then plays it off to the left hand side for Miller, who rolls the ball with the sole of his boot a couple of times, plays it for Galloway under a bit of pressure, but he finds a run of Miller into the middle where he finds Edwards, and Edwards will play it still further out to the right hand side for Cundall then for Morgan Whittaker, and Whittaker with the outside the left boot plays it infield to Cundall, inside right channel, and he'll play it for Randell, and Randell's shot comes in and it bounces in front of the keeper, who does well just to cling on to that one. Could have been so much more awkward for him, but it bounced up and he did gather it in nicely as it went into his chest.
Yeah, it was a good link-up play in the middle by Mikael Miller and Joe Edwards as they play those sort of inverted full-back roles. They both cut inside and create those overloads in the midfield that allows the likes of Luke Cundall to play higher up the pitch, and ultimately Randall then found himself in space, and it was a decent effort from distance, but comfortable enough for the keeper in the end.
Ball then played out to the right hand side for Argyle, but Whittaker won't get to that one. Milsom's there, crossing in the middle. Argyle on the stretch will force the play upfield, and Cundall will get a knee or a shin or a belly to that, but it'll only roll out to this near side where it's picked up by Sutton United, forced backwards. Coley on the ball, controls it with the left instep, drags it with the right sole of his right boot, but Luke Cundall's there and he fights for the ball, and between he and Morgan Whittaker, Argyle come away with the ball. They try to play it with the outside of Morgan Whittaker's left boot into the middle for the run of Ryan Hardy, but blocked once again by Sutton United. It's going to be a throw-in down the right-hand side for Argyle. Edwards to take then, throws it infield for Cundall. Cundall back for Edwards, and from inside the Sutton United half will play it back to Dan Scarr, inside right channel, and he'll square it off to the left-hand side for Galloway, and Galloway comes forward, plays it in to Callum Wright. Callum Wright under pressure from Buteman. We'll play that backwards again for Galloway. Galloway will play it along the halfway line for Dan Scarr, and it goes to Edwards on the right hand side. Argyle looking to build once again, and they lead by a goal to nil. The ball then finds Morgan Whittaker down the right hand side. He has Kondo ahead of him, but he gets to he gets the cross in from the right hand side. Appeals for a handball from the Argyle faithful, but nothing going, and as Sutton United try to clear the ball away, it's deflected back for Argyle, who are fighting for the ball at the moment on the edge, halfway inside the Sutton United half, and the Sutton though will have the ball. Clay has it, and right footer will clip the ball over the top for Buteman down the left hand side, and he collects the ball, and as he does, the offside is being given. And I don't know, that's just another one of those new rules that just annoys us old timers. Just give the offside and make him stop running. It's going to be given anyway.
When there's no chance of him going through on goal as well, just no need to let it play through. But he was clearly offside there, just mistimed the run slightly. I
suppose the idea is that if he'd stopped and one of his teammates had come from an onside position, then it would have been fine.
Yeah. Still unnecessary in my mind.
Thank you. You agree with me for once. And what time is it now? Oh, yeah, about 40 minutes. How long have we been sat together? About an hour, 2 maybe. Throwing down the left hand side for Sutton United. Milsom to take this, a level with the edge of the Sutton United penalty area. As I say, 6 minutes, 5 minutes now of normal time to the break, and Argyle leading by a goal to nil. Ball onto the head of Hardy, but his header is a little wayward. It only finds Clay, plays it into the back line for Goodliff, and Goodliff long ball upfield finds Randell, but Sutton United just forcing the play now down the left hand side. Coley's there, it just won't sit down for him, and now he controls the ball. He's got Cundall ahead of him, comes in field on his right boot, plays it off to his right. Well, Clay and Coley trying to exchange passes on the edge of the Argyle penalty area. The ball played back for Coley from Clay, was behind him, and it rolled all the way through for Hazard, and Hazard will bowl it out, and it's picked up by Whittaker, plays it down the line for Edwards. Edwards back to Whittaker, back for Hazard, who stabs it out to the left hand side for Galloway, and Galloway will come forward now, plays it into the midfield for Callum Wright, inside left channel, halfway inside the Argyle half, off to the left hand side for Galloway once again, pokes it down the line for Miller, back to Galloway, and Argyle just eating up the minutes at the moment, and the possession stats, one would imagine. It goes back to Hazard, off for Scarr, right edge of the penalty area. Pokes it into the air and collects it and plays it off for Edwards down the right hand side. Comes in field now, looking for a more progressive pass, and he'll roll it for Randell, and Randell in the holding position this afternoon will find Miller, and Miller plays it out wide to the left hand side for Freddie Azaka, and Azaka just runs inside Gape just for a moment, and Argyle then nice little exchange of passes, and it's Miller now plays it forward for Cundall, and Cundall will feed it out to the right hand side for Morgan Whittaker, and is he going to get this on his left boot? He does, and he's shot to the near post, comes off a Sutton United toe and goes behind for yet another corner for Argyle. There's been a few times where Morgan Whittaker's been forced down the outside, and you just think he'd really like to get in on that left, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's trying to get onto his left foot as often as he can, but again, some intricate play around the edge of the box, which opened up that opportunity for Morgan Whittaker to get down the right hand side, and he's won a corner which Mikael Miller will swing in with his left foot again.
Play more, it's Torquay 0, Eastbourne 1. The ball in then from the corner kick into the 6-yard box. It's helped on its way to the far side. Did that go out? It didn't, but it will now on the far side. Throw in then for Argyle, halfway inside the Sutton United half, which the referee's blown for something. I'm not quite sure what. Maybe we've got 2 balls on the pitch. That'll do. Throw in then from the far side. It goes back for Galloway, just inside the Sutton United half, plays it into the midfield. Ball played by Randell, off for Dan Scarr, comes forward now through the inside right channel for Argyle, and then left footed will stab it square to this near side for Miller, and from inside the Sutton United half will go back to Hazard, who's halfway inside the Argyle half, and first time under pressure he will stab the ball out for Galloway, and Galloway tries an intricate little ball down that right hand side, but it's just intercepted by Sutton United. Argyle just not quite getting those passes going, otherwise they would have had a few players through on goal on a few occasions this afternoon. The ball though is with the Sutton United goalkeeper, who left-footed, plays it to the near side, heads go up, it's going to Coley who will win it, but his ball in field only finds Callum Wright, and Callum Wright will lay it off for Randall, and Randall now inside right channel, almost halfway inside the Sutton United half, plays it off for Cundall. Cundall then, little sway of the hips, just takes him away from Beautyman, and then the ball is played down the left-hand side from Freddie Isaka, and he tries to just poke it past his man, and he pokes it against his man, and it will be a corner kick on the left-hand side for Argyle. But Argyle exploring all the avenues down both sides of the pitch and through the centre.
Yeah, trying to get those playmakers on the ball as much as they possibly can. Morgan Whittaker spent a fair bit of time, probably deeper than we used to seeing him, trying to get on the ball in this first half, and Luke Cundall's found some of those spaces. But yeah, just more opportunities as the ball swung in from Randall. Corner
then from the left hand side, heads go up, it helps it on its way across the penalty area, cleared to the near side by Sutton United. It's going to drop into touch. Throw in then for Argyle, taken by Whittaker, finds Dan Scarr about a third of the way inside the Sutton United half, and he'll play it back to the halfway line for Miller, who lays it off to the left hand side for Callum Wright, allows it just to run momentarily across his body, then controls the ball, plays it back into the middle for Randall, nonchalantly plays it off to the right hand side for Dan Scarr. Scarr into the midfield for Ryan Hardy, and then a longer ball over the top down the right hand side. Joe Edwards is trying to get on the end of that one, but Sutton will have a little bit of time on their hands to clear this up towards halfway, and the sting is taken out of it by Randall, and Argyle again will go for a longer ball up towards the penalty area. It's cleared away only as far as Edwards, then the ball into the middle for Callum Wright, little square ball across there by Cundall. Callum Wright, edge of the area, had the shot, didn't have the accuracy or the power, to be honest, from that distance, and maybe will feel that perhaps he should have done better. But a nice little opening up. Argyle again starting to open up Sutton United with some of their passing, and the speed of the passing really, I guess, Katie, around the penalty. It's the speed of thought, I think, that's helping. Yeah, that sort of tempo that they want to be playing with to pull those Sutton players around and open up those little spaces. This time Luke Cundall sort of dropped out towards the right hand side, and it was his ball across the box which found Callum Wright, but as you said, he skewed his shot wide of that right hand side post for the keeper. The ball then with Milsom over the top down the left hand side, that's going to drift into touch for a throw in for Argyle. This is about 12 yards from the dead ball line down the right hand side. Argyle really haven't been particularly pressured in this first half. The referee blows for half time. It's Argyle 1, Sutton United 0. The scoreline that perhaps we wanted for Argyle. It's not been the most thrilling of FA Cup ties, not too many shots on target. The goal when we got it 18 minutes, nice break down the left hand side. It was Whittaker raking ball out to Isaka fed Hardy found Cundall. His first shot was saved, but somehow he managed to squirm it over the line for the opening goal, and Cundall had another moment where he shot wide not long after that one. It's not been high intensity cup tie, I don't think, Katie Middleton. It's not been blessed with huge amounts of chances or crunching tackles, but at the moment it's going the right way. Yeah, I think kind of gone very much as we expected it would, in terms of Argyle having the majority of the possession, Sutton just looking to sit in and play on the counter-attack when they can. You know, I think Argyle's quality at times has started to show through as the half has worn on, but yeah, maybe not as many sort of open opportunities for goals as we would have liked. But I think as this game wears on, we'll start to see a few more opportunities as the Sutton players start to tire a little bit, and Argyle can then use that momentum and, like we said, that tempo to try and raise that and get on top furthermore in the game. Ian Foster's here, the new manager. What do you think he'll have made of what he's seen of his new charges so far? I think he'll be relatively happy. You know, they've scored a goal, they haven't conceded, they've had the majority of possession. It'll just be kind of trying to tidy things up a little bit, which he'll be looking at, and can you get those important players in the right areas of the pitch? As I said, I think Morgan Whittaker has
dropped in quite a lot to try and get on the ball a bit deeper. Can you push him a little bit higher up the pitch, and he can make things happen in those areas around the edge of the box. Luke Cundall's looked lively. He's got on the ball when he could. Adam Randall's tried to keep things ticking over as much as possible in those midfield areas. But I think so far so good. He'll be happy with what he's seen, and he'll obviously feel there's lots of things that he can work on and implement as time goes on, but that's what he's been brought in for.
You were saying before the game kicked off, one of the concerns might have been that the new manager here and up against, with respect, lesser opposition, Morgan Whittaker, the likes of Morgan Whittaker might have sort of over-tried or tried to do much the whole time. We have seen little bits from him, but actually we've not really seen the real Morgan Whittaker so far.
No, and I think sometimes when you play against those sort of lower league opposition where they do like to sit in and just be a bit more defensive, often you see the best of Morgan Whittaker when we're playing on the counter-attack and we can play early and you can get him into space. Probably similar with Ryan Hardy. He's a player who very much will run the channels for you and look to try and stretch defenders, but actually when they're so deep anyway, that space is closed down early on. So the likes of Morgan Whittaker, the likes of Ryan Hardy have to almost sort of change their game a little bit to drop in shorter rather than going long like they used to. So it does sort of change things in the way that Argyle are trying to play and probably how they would 9 times out of 10 play in the Championship. So just it's about mixing it up, and it's about playing to the opposition and trying to figure out how the opposition are playing, where they can exploit those areas, and that's what Ian Foster will look to try and do in the dressing room at half time.
We'll come to Freddie Isaka in a minute. You made an interesting point there. It's about working out how to open up the defence. You were a defender, so what have Argyle got to do to perhaps get a little bit more luck in front of goal? Or are they doing the right things already? Because they seem to be passing it quickly and finding their men. It's just, as you say, moments that are escaping them.
Yeah, I think they won't change very much. It's about trying to draw those defenders out, and it's those little bits of movement. So sometimes, can Ryan Hardy drop off the defenders? Can he come in short, show for feet, pull a central defender with him and create those spaces for then the likes of Luke Cundall and Callum Wright to be making those third man runs? Sometimes those are more important movements for the striker than necessarily going towards goal. So it's about just trying to create those spaces, but also then that little bit of quality in that sort of final ball or final pass that will start to create more clear opportunities for Argyle as the game wears on.
Are those chances going to come as much? Because I imagine the Sutton players, they again, due respect, and I don't know, you've played, their usual patterns of play, the usual thing they're up against is at a slower pace, and maybe their understanding of thought of what's going on in front of them isn't quite as quick, so they're having to think double quick all the time in order to keep up with the likes of Ryan Hardy. If that is the case, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that something that's going to become a little bit more tiring for them as the game goes on? It's not just the physical thing, it's the mental thing of keeping up. Yeah,
without a doubt. And whatever we've done this season in terms of commentary stuff, we've spoken about moments where Argyle switch off that have meant that better teams have been able to capitalise on that, and that's very much the case on the flip side here today with Sutton. You've got to be on it all the time. There's not a moment where you can switch off, because as soon as you do, that player who's that little bit quicker in thought than you are just steals a yard and finds space on the pitch and can make things happen. So as much as obviously Argyle have had most of the possession, Sutton have done a lot of running around and defending. They're going to be tired from doing that, but actually that sort of thought processes have got to be at it all the time to make sure that they stay on top of those movements from the Argyle attackers. And
hopefully they won't, and as the game goes on, and hopefully Argyle can open them up. Not the greatest FA Cup tie so far, but it's going the right way for Argyle. They've had the greatest speed of thought in and around the penalty area. They've picked up the tempo when they've needed to, and that's why at half-time we have a half-time score in the FA Cup third round of Plymouth Argyle 1, Sutton United 0.
Late Late Nights with Becky Want.
I was the first person in the world, I think the only person in the world still.
Really, still?
Yeah, it's because I would perform it all myself, so I would sign and speak it. So I wanted to try to do something a little bit different, but something that's also still a bit visual, Becky, so that deaf people, if they still are coming, they can still see things, if that makes sense, rather than just a bald ginger man standing on stage for 2 hours.
I thought women aren't like that. We've got cellulite, we snag our tights, we trip over in heels. So wouldn't it be funny to take that, turn them on the head and make them really, really funny?
Late Night Becky. Sunday to Thursday nights from 10.
BBC Radio Devon. BBC Radio Devon.
Sport.
With James Vickery.
3:53 BBC Radio Devon Sport with James. OK, let's go around the grounds, find out what's going on at half-time. Let's start in the rugby, Premiership Rugby. Great first half at Sandy Park. Exeter Chiefs against Northampton Saints. Are Chiefs heading to the top of the table tonight, Nigel Warrand?
Well, they certainly are at the moment. Another dream start by the Chiefs here at Sandy Park. They had the 4-try bonus point in the bag inside the first 23 minutes. A stunning play from the Chiefs against the side who went into this weekend sitting top of the Premiership table. Jacques Vermeulen got the ball rolling after 6 minutes with a try from close range, and then Faye Waboso, the man of the moment, got the second 7 minutes later with his 5th of the season after a floated pass by Harvey Skinner. Henry Slade kicked one conversion, that was 12-0. Then Stu Townsend shot down the left touchline after a line-out move involving Jack Yendall, and then Vermeulen went over for his second try of the game, both converted by Slade, and Chiefs win Dreamworld at 26 points to 0 up. Then Daffyd Jenkins was yellow carded for an upright tackle on England fullback George Furbank, and Saints suddenly showed why they were top of the table with 2 tries in the space of 3 minutes. Callum Brayley getting the first after half an hour, and then 3 minutes later Ollie Slightholme going over, both being converted by Finn Smith, but thankfully Chiefs saw out the rest of the half without any further trouble. They have Daffyd Jenkins back for the start of the second half, giving us the half-time score. Exeter 26, Northampton 14.
Thanks very much, Nigel. So that's what's been going on at Sandy Park then in Rugby Union's Premiership. Let's go to the FA Cup third round. Plymouth Argyle at home against Sutton United. Argyle under new management, Ian Foster of course. How are his Pilgrim side getting on this afternoon? Alan Seabrook.
Yep, they're winning, James. Argyle 1, Sutton United 0. Not the greatest FA Cup tie you will ever have seen, but it is going the way of Argyle, who in terms of speed of thought and tempo around the opposition penalty area have managed to create moments, even if not too many goals. Indeed, Cundall and Wright have both had efforts just wide of the target after opening up the Sutton United defence. The goal when it came, and that was on 18 minutes, had a bit of quality about it. Morgan Whittaker down the right-hand side swung a delicious ball out to the left-hand side. Freddie Isaka, who's impressed this afternoon already, feeding the ball along the edge of the area to Ryan Hardy, helped it on its way to Luke Cundall. His first shot was saved by the goalkeeper. It bounced back kindly to Cundall, who managed to squeeze the ball home at the near post. As I say, not the most exciting game so far. Plenty of moments, not many goals. So Argyle 1, Sutton 0.
Thanks very much, Alan Seabrook. Let's go to League One next. Important game at the foot of the table. Exeter City taking on fellow strugglers Carlisle United. Let's find out whether there's been a breakthrough in this one so far. Here's Dave Saunders.
Yeah, no breakthrough yet, James, in this relegation battle, but I tell you what, it could have been a dream start for the Fulham loanee Luke Harris signed this week. He was fully involved, especially inside the first 10 minutes. Sonny Cox broke down the left-hand side, pulled the ball into the box. Harris, with his first touch, had a shot blocked inside the 6-yard box as he was about to pull the trigger. Then just a few minutes later, he had a snapshot as he turned, just dragged the ball wide, and then with his enthusiasm at its most, he was booked for an untidy tackle. We then had a lull in the game, and it was Carlisle that had Maguire slip inside the box, and then Carroll beat one defender, pulled the ball across, but it came to nothing. And then Sweeney to Rankin. Rankin beat the defender beautifully in front of the big back, pulled the ball across the box, but it was foiled by the keeper, Breeze. Carlisle on 35 minutes had their best chance. A loose ball found its way to Emmanuel inside the box, just about to pull the trigger, and there there was a fantastic tackle by Zach Jules to foil the danger. And then Jordan Gibson on 44 minutes shot just wide as it remained 0-0. And then with a minute being played, Sonny Cox had the last kick of the half blocked right on half-time. City have had around about 70% of the possession, but alas, they need a goal. Half-time here, Exeter 0, Carlisle 0.
Thank you, Dave. If only possession won football, Exeter would probably be top of the league, but it doesn't work like that, does it? Right, let's go to Plainmoor. Torquay United at home against Eastbourne Borough. Paul Mulhern.
Yeah, hi James, it's a new year here at Plainmoor as it is everywhere else, but unfortunately for United it's the same old story, and it's been quite frankly an abysmal first half performance from the home side. Not been the best of game from either side in truth. It looked like it was going to kick off reasonably well, as after just 15 seconds a header from Keeley should have tested Halstead more, and a couple of minutes later Ethan Archer had a shot blocked for Torquay United, but truthfully after that it just petered out into the game mainly happening between both boxes. There was a moment of controversy though, which changed the game really. There's been a big impact on the game. After just 14 minutes, Proctor picked up a yellow card for a foul on De Silva. The game went on, but after 35 minutes, again out on the right hand side, De Silva was brought down. The referee went over, he showed a second yellow card to Proctor, which in turn led to a red card. However, without signalling it very well to anybody on the ground, he then changed his mind and realised that he'd booked the wrong person, and actually the captain Sam Beard picked up the yellow, which meant that Eastbourne kept 11 men on the park. If that wasn't bad enough for Torquay, just 2 minutes later a shot from Sheriff broke to Keeley in the box, and from 15 yards he just stroked it low past Halstead to give the away side the lead. Torquay United had been getting into the game just before that and just after. A header from Tomlinson just on half time went weakly wide. Marshall picked up a yellow card for an attempted overhead kick when he kicked a defender, and then just right before the half time whistle a Collins volley from the left foot with 16 yards should have done better. Gary Johnson's got a lot of work on his hands, James, though, but at half time at Plainmoor, Torquay United 0, Eastbourne Borough 1.
Thanks very much, Paul. OK, that's what's going on then at Plainmoor. Let me bring you up to date with the 3 o'clock FA Cup scores. Blackburn Rovers 3, Cambridge United 2 at Ewood Park, Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2, Hull City, they are losing at home against Birmingham City 1-0 at the break. Newport against Eastleigh is goalless. Bristol Rovers are giving it a real go against Norwich though. Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Argyle leads Sutton by a goal to 0. Queen's Park Rangers 2, AFC Bournemouth 0. Southampton 1, Walsall 0. Stoke City 1, Brighton 1 and Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. League One scores. Fleetwood have already been beaten today 3-1 by Derby County. That's a result from the Highbury Stadium. Burton against Wickham is goalless, as is Cheltenham against Portsmouth. Exeter against Carlisle is goalless, but we do have some goals to tell you about at Vale Park, where it's Port Vale 1, Charlton Athletic 1. League 2, Barrow 0, Tranmere 0, Bradford 0, Crawley 1, Mansfield 0, Crewe 1. Salford against Forest Green Rovers is 1 each, and Swindon 2, Colchester United 1 in that match there. National League South half-times, Braintree 2, Hampton and Richmond 0, Chippenham 1, Hemel Hempstead Town 2. Dover against Truro is goalless, Slough Town 1, Taunton 0, St Albans City 1, Farnborough 0, Tonbridge Angels 1, Weymouth 1. Elsewhere, Welling United 0, Averley 3, Weston-super-Mare 0, Dartford 1, Worthing 1, Chelmsford 2, and Yeovil, the league leaders, lead Bath City 1-0 at the break.
Winter.
Arctic air moving its way in from the north.
With biting winds and icy roads. When a drive to work can last for hours.
There's one car that is totally buried.
So pretty horrendous.
And snowmen come out to play. But you can only find one glove.
Little bit of wintry sunshine out and about.
Could even have a few patches of frost.
Strong winds.
Stormy weather awaits us.
Transport disruption. Very unsettled. Temperatures drop a little bit lower than they did last night.
We're here so you know what's happening.
BBC Radio Devon.
BBC Radio Devon, right. Second half coverage of Exeter Chiefs coming up for you now. If you're listening on 103.4 FM, that's across the county, and also the BBC Sport website, we can take you back to Sandy Park for Chiefs against Northampton with John Lockyer and Nigel Walrond. Elsewhere, I think we've still got a little while to go before we take you back to your football games, so let's get a half-time report on what's going on in East Devon. Exmouth today, they're at home against Wimborne Town. Peter Smith.
Half-time at Southern Road, it's Exmouth Town 1, Wimborne Town 2. Exmouth behind and overwhelmed to start off with. Hardly got out of their own half in the first 20 minutes, in which time Wimborne scored twice. First, Jack Lovell on 4 minutes after pressure down the left, and then on 17, Ethan Slater was dispossessed. Harry Foster finishing from close range. Again, cruelly exposing Exmouth's lack of a specialist right back. Exmouth pulled one back on the half hour, though a speculative long-range left-foot shot from Aaron Denny, but Wimborne have dominated the rest of the half. For Exmouth, Ace High's often been left isolated up front with scraps to feed off, but the problem's really further back, and until that's fixed, Exmouth won't get anything out of this game. Exmouth 1, Wimborne 2.
Thanks, Peter. More from you later. Right, if you're listening on BBC Sounds, 95.7 FM in Plymouth and West Devon, and across the county on DAB Digital Radio. Let's go back to Home Park for the FA Cup third round. Plymouth Argyle against Sutton United with Katie Middleton and Alan Seabrook.
Yeah, thanks, James. We're a couple of minutes into the second half. It's as you were at half-time. Argyle 1, Sutton United 0. Long ball upfield by Sutton United. Argyle will pick that off, but it's picked up once again by Sutton United in the midfield. We have, in the opening couple of minutes, a moment of danger, really, Katie, for Argyle.
Yeah, it was a good ball into the box from Milsom, I think it was, who played it into the back post, and good lift got up and headed back across the box, and it wasn't far away from Harry Buteman being there to tuck it in. It was fell kindly in the end for Connor Hazard to just gather, but a moment to be wary of for Argyle, just to make them kind of wake up and say that Sutton are still in this game.
Ball drops into the midfield. Luke Cundall battling for it, but Coley is there, and he shirks off one challenge, and then he runs into Dan Scarr, and Scarr will play it down the line, and it's picked up now by Cundall, who plays it backwards. Longer ball upfield, looking for Ryan Hardy, controls it on the chest, on the stretch, and it will run away from him. Sutton United will pick the ball up and play the ball all the way back to their goalkeeper, who right-footed will clear the ball up over halfway. It drops onto the head of Mikael Miller, but his header forward comes off the back of the Sutton United player, and then Sutton will try and play it down the right-hand side, looking to get Jackson in, but Miller's there, just gets his body between man and ball, and it will run into touch for goal kick for Argyle, who play it off to the right-hand side. Dan Scarr on the ball, instep of the right boot, plays it wide to the right-hand side for Joe Edwards. Edwards for Cundall. Cundall waves it back for Dan Scarr, rolls it into the middle for Hazard. Hazard, left-footed, just stabs it outside his penalty area for Galloway. Comes forward, he has a little bit of room, plays it into Randell, centre field, halfway inside the Argyle half. Argyle attacking the Devonport end in this second half. Randell on the ball, very calm and collected, and will play that off Dan Scarr, and then it's off to Edwards down the right-hand side. Picks out Luke Cundall. Cundall will play it backwards for Edwards, and Argyle at the moment just happy to have some possession in and around their own penalty area, and Galloway now has a little bit of room to come into, and he plays it forward for Mikael Miller, and Miller then left-footed will loop that forward, and between Miller and Callum Wright, they do get the ball forward, but it's picked up now on the edge of the penalty area, Argyle penalty area by Sutton, and it's Argyle on the ball, and he strikes it into the back of the net. Argyle losing possession a little further upfield. Argyle on the ball on the edge of the penalty area, shifted it on his left boot, squeezed it past Hazard, and Sutton United are level. The Sutton United fans away to the right hand side celebrating, and you can see what that meant to Argyle. Punched the air as he leapt upwards, and on 49 minutes, so Argyle 1, Sutton 1.
Yeah, Sutton have looked fairly dangerous at the start of this second half, and I think, as we said before, it's a bit of a wake-up call for Argyle to say you're not going to have this all your own way. It's how Argyle respond to this now, but it's just a moment of lapse in concentration. The ball falls nicely for Angle. He draws Dan Scarr across, just takes a touch inside him, and he finishes it well across the keeper. But you know, Sutton have got what they deserved at the beginning of the second half.
What is it that gets into your head, if anything, from an Argyle perspective, that would have allowed Sutton to get in their faces quite so much in the second half?
I think it's just a case of sort of taking your foot off the pedal a little bit and almost sort of thinking the job's half done, but you know in football that the job's never done until you're out of sight, and 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline, and no fair play to Sutton for coming at them at the start of the second half. We knew they'd have to sort of press a little bit higher and try and get something out of the game, and they've got their just rewards so far.
Argyle then with the ball inside right channel. Dan Scarr has it, he plays it back to Hazard, first time squares it off to the near side for Galloway, then left-footed will play the ball longer upfield. Little triangles for Sutton, feeds it for Kizzy down the right hand side, tries to play it longer, and Jackson tries to get on the end of the ball down the right hand side for Sutton United. Galloway comes across, picks off the ball, clears it upfield, and then as Sutton tried to clear the ball away, it's picked up by Argyle, and that is a poor ball into no man's land. It's picked up by Sutton, who have a bit of possession and maybe just a little bit of hope now. They go back to their goalkeeper, right-footed, will play the ball up forward. It goes straight to the feet of Kundal, whose control just lets him down a little bit, and Sutton will be there, and they'll play it longer down the left-hand side, but Dan Scarr comes across, left-footed, will play it back for Hazard to Galloway, edge of the penalty area, stabs it into the midfield for Callum Wright, and Wright on the ball will go all the way back for Hazard, who first time feeds it off to the feet of Dan Scarr on the edge of the penalty area. He's going for a longer ball at the moment, looking to get Ryan Hardy in behind, and Hardy is in behind. He's very wide though, to the dead ball line, plays it into the middle. Callum Wright tries to make up ground, but he was never going to get to that, and the ball is cleared forward by Sutton as far as Argyle, who scored the goal for Sutton United, and Sutton now battling away down the right hand side. Jackson goes to ground under the pressure of Galloway. It's going to be a free kick then for Sutton United, who've had their giant killings down the years. I'm not quite sure how this one will rate, certainly not in the levels that Coventry City felt back in the 80s, or Leeds United not so very long ago. Probably less than 10 years since they beat Leeds United. But Sutton United now have free kick wide on the right hand side. Of course Argyle aren't behind, and they have a chance to get back into this. Well, it's 1-1, and Argyle have a chance to get back into the lead, of course, and they have options on the bench. Free kick then wide on the right hand side for Sutton United. Milsom to take it, plays it into the area, that's straight into the arms of Hazard, who tries to break upfield, and Argyle is there and just blocks his immediate distribution of the ball, who does now get it away to the right hand side for Joe Edwards. Stands on the ball, drags it with the sole of a boot, takes it down the right hand side. Argyle though being forced back, and then they play it into the centre of the defence for Galloway. Left footed, stabs it for Callum Wright, and Wright they'll play it into the midfield, and that's a poor ball by Argyle, who once again concede possession, and really they need just to have a little bit more maybe of a thought about what they're doing at the moment. Elsewhere it's Torquay 1, Eastbourne 1. As Sutton United play the ball forward, collected by Argyle and played forward for Freddie Isaka. Diagonal run, left to right, finds Kundal off to the right hand side. They pick out Morgan Whittaker. This is Whittaker territory, and he bends it just past the post. One little bounce past the goalkeeper, just wide of the upright. And the crowd were up for that one. We've seen Morgan Whittaker put the ball away so many times from that sort of position, and this time he went for placement rather than power, and maybe she just smashed it, because that's what we all wanted.
Yeah, it's a good build-up play, and Argyle will look to kind of use this Sutton more attacking football to their advantage by trying to play on the counter, and when the ball breaks down and Argyle getting back in possession, it's about getting the likes of Morgan Whittaker on the ball, and unfortunately that time, as you say, he just curled it wide of the far post, but you know, that's promising. We want to see Morgan Whittaker picking the ball up in those areas on the corner of the box where he can cut inside on that left foot and do some damage.
I guess that's the thing, in Morgan Whittaker, Argyle have a match winner, don't they?
Yeah, certainly, and we've seen that time and time again this season. You know, he's there at the right moments to stick the ball in the back of the net when you need him to, so hopefully he's got another one of those at least one of those moments of magic in him today.
Ball then with Dan Scarr inside his own penalty area. He clears the ball away under pressure. It's picked up by Clay, and it's fed now to the left hand side by Sutton United. They put it back to the edge of the penalty. This is real danger for Argyle. Played into the middle, and between them Argyle just about managed to get that away at the near post, but Sutton attacking at pace down the left hand side, and eventually the ball from Galloway at the near post, putting it away for a corner kick, but Argyle being opened up there by Sutton United, who really have got their tails up at the moment. Corner on the left hand side for Sutton United. It's going to be a left footed out swinger to the edge of the penalty area, and Argyle managed to force that one away, but not too far. Picked up by Sutton United. They are going back to halfway now, and it goes back to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper, Freddie Isaaca, clash, and the ball now breaks. The goalkeeper's still out of the penalty area. Argyle can't get possession of the ball quickly enough to try and lock the goalkeeper, and eventually it breaks to Morgan Whittaker, fires the ball forward, and Argyle have a man down under all the little Freddie Isaaca, who's down, who got to the ball as the goalkeeper did, and he was way out of his goal, and Argyle just couldn't make the most of the goalkeeper's proximity away from his goal, and the ball now comes to this near side, and it's going to be allowed to roll into touch, and it's going to be a bit of treatment there for Freddie Isaaca, who's nearly created a moment for Argyle as the goalkeeper raced out.
Yeah, it was just a back pass that was slightly short, and Isaaca's got a lot of pace that you were hoping he might just get a toe to the ball just before the keeper, but they kind of get there at the same time, and the ball pings up, and you think, can Cundall hit it first time? The keeper's way out of his area, but it doesn't quite sit for him, and then it breaks down in the end. But those moments for Isaaca, what excites the crowd, and getting those fans behind him.
So we're having a bit of a water break. I don't know why, it's not that hot. As we get a bit of treatment for Freddie Isaaca, who comes to the near side and is actually going to come off the field of play, just looking after their young prospects. Hobbles off, and Barley Mumba comes on, and he'll take up a place down the left-hand side, and Jordan Houghton comes on as well. Callum Wright goes off, Jordan Houghton comes on. Intent there, I think, then from Argyle, certainly with Barley Mumba coming on. Not that there's been anything wrong with the contribution from Freddie Isaaca. Maybe that is just precautionary. He did take a bit of a kick there, and Jordan Houghton will just hopefully bottle things up in front of the back four. Argyle, of course, have had a little bit of a rough start to the second half, and a long ball forward. Ryan Hardy's in on goal, just to keep it a bit, gets the shot away. It's defended well, and loops away, and Sutton will get the ball to the near side, but just for a moment things opening up for Ryan Hardy. Got the shot away. Defender, though, just at the last managed to get a toe to that. It looped away to the left hand side, but that's the first time we've seen Ryan Hardy put in the clear. Yeah, it's a fantastic ball through from Dan Scarr. Splits the two centre halves of Sutton, and that's where you want to see Ryan Hardy running through on goal, using his pace to get in between the centre halves. But as you say, great defending from Sutton, and managed to get across and get a block in before Ryan Hardy could get a shot away on goal. Thought that might have been it for a moment. The ball then with Argyle. Houghton's there, flicks it over his own shoulder, edge of the penalty area, down the line, picked up though by Sutton United. Play it longer, and Angol, the goal scorer for Sutton United, concedes the throw on the near side. The ball with Galloway then plays it off for Scarr right-footed even further off to that right-hand side, where he finds Joe Edwards down the line, picks up Morgan Whittaker on the run, just plays the ball over the top, looking for Luke Cundall, and Cundall is pulled back on that far side of the field, so it's going to be a free kick for Argyle, about halfway inside the Sutton United half. And they try to take it quickly, and the referee says he wants it brought back. A bit of frustration there for Argyle, and Argyle were going backwards anyway, and they're going to go backwards again, are they? Or they're going to try something a little more adventurous. Joe Edwards there then, looking for a pass. He's holding his arms out, saying, who am I going to give this to? And then he decides to go backwards for Scarr, and Scarr will roll that across the halfway line to Galloway, and Galloway to the near side for Mikael Miller, and Mikael Miller just coming forward, and then plays it out for Barley Mumba, and Mumba on the ball, right foot, he tries to play it infield, and that's a sloppy ball. It's intercepted by Sutton United. Jackson's there, plays it into the middle. Argyle, though, with some defending to do, they just about get a toe in to take the ball away from Buteman, and now it's played into the centre of midfield for Houghton. Houghton plays it to Joe Edwards in the right back spot, and then right-footed will clip it into the middle once again for Galloway. Galloway left-footed plays it for Randall. Randall will play that backwards for Galloway once again, and it's off to the far side where he'll pick out Dan Scarr. Scarr back into the midfield for Jordan Houghton. I guess bringing on Jordan Houghton, we've seen Sutton in this second half have quite a good start the second half, and obviously they level things up. You just wonder if Jordan Houghton will bring a bit of calm in front of the back four.
Yeah, I think a lot of the moments in the beginning of the second half have been sloppy play from Argyle that have put them under trouble. So it'll be certainly looking for the likes of Jordan Houghton with those experienced heads, Joe Edwards, to just get the foot on the ball and slow things down a little bit and get Argyle back in possession again.
Kundal has a sloppy pass, but it comes back to him. Then he skips away from two challenges down the left-hand side. And is it going to be a throw-in for Argyle? It certainly is. It's Mikael Miller, level with the edge of the penalty area. Plays it back for Barley Mumba. Mumba with some room to run into at the edge of the area. Tries a cute little pass, and it's just a little bit too cute, and it doesn't find a Plymouth Argyle player. And Argyle concede a free kick. It was Miller trying to make amends on Kizzy, conceding the free kick on the right hand side for Sutton United. 61 minutes on the clock. Tuned to BBC Radio Devon. It's the FA Cup third round day, and it's Argyle 1, Sutton United 1. Argyle taking the lead on 18 minutes through Luke Kundal after the ball had come back off the goalkeeper, but Argyle with an equaliser on 50 minutes for Sutton United. I have to say, started the second half very much with their tails up and on the front foot. Argyle with some defending to do down the left-hand side. This is all just a bit scruffy. Argyle trying to get the ball away. Nobody's actually putting their foot on the ball, but now it comes to Barley Mumba, and Mumba will stab it down the line, and again it runs into touch, and it's all a bit hurried, it's all a bit scruffy at the moment. Nobody really stringing two passes together.
Now Argyle need to use their experience a little bit here and get their foot on the ball. The Sutton goalkeeper goes down injured. But yeah, just a scrappy sort of 5 minutes or so with neither team really in the ascendancy. Argyle looking to, as I say, get their foot on the ball and use it a bit better. Just times where they've got themselves into trouble trying to play too much around the edge of the box, giving the ball away and just inviting pressure from Sutton. And as we've seen, they got their rewards at the beginning of the second half from that, and it's about how Argyle respond to that now.
Still not been the greatest FA Cup tie, is it? The first half wasn't brilliant, but we got the right scoreline at the break through, Argyle being in the lead, and what we've had 17, nearly 18 minutes of the second half, and it's still, I don't know, I mean, is that something Sutton would have done? Is that something they would have wanted in their game plan? Let's just kill the game in terms of a spectacle, or is it just the way the game's going? Yeah,
I mean, if it's free-flowing football and lots of chances, Sutton will probably be thinking that that's Argyle playing well and creating lots of opportunities. So yeah, certainly for them it's about making the game bitty, slowing things down. You've seen Argyle, every time the ball goes out they want to play quickly, so for Sutton it's about just slowing everything down and trying to make it difficult for Argyle, which they have done so far in the second half.
Clayen goes off and Goosen comes on. Gape comes off as well for Sutton United, and Sutton are also bringing on another substitute with Eastman, who started his career, I believe, at Arsenal, and he's been with Sutton United for quite some time. Ball then cleared forward, and they pick the ball up now on the edge of the penalty area. Sutton United then have it, but they're forced away. First time cross from Kizzy up to the edge of the penalty area. It's stabbed away by Argyle. Ryan Hardy throws a leg at that one, but he won't collect it, and then he's got quite a bit of ground to make up if he wants to get to the ball. The goalkeeper just taps it to the edge of his area. Left-footed will launch the ball long upfield onto the head of Dan Scarr. Argyle then pick the ball up once again, and they're trying to get Hardy away down the right-hand side. I'm not sure if he thought he may have been offside, but he certainly didn't chase it. Joe Edwards did, and the ball finally cleared by Sutton United down their left-hand side into touch. Throw in then finds Morgan Whittaker. Whittaker on the ball, tries to play a little intricate pass infield, but it's cleared away by Sutton United. You just wonder whether Morgan Whittaker is missing Finn Azaz this afternoon, because those two combined in those little tight areas on the edge of the box so well. Houghton on the ball, cleared away by Sutton United. And to the left-hand side, and as Sutton United try to break, Joe Edwards goes across, and he's got a word or two for his teammates, and he looks quite cross with them, but he's taken out his man on the far side. It's going to be a free kick to Sutton United, and I think Joe Edwards has gone into the book for his trouble. 65 minutes on the clock. It's Argyle 1, Sutton United 1. So what, 25 minutes for Argyle to maybe to grab a goal or two just to have a comfortable passage into the fourth round of the FA Cup. You can look at the draw then without having a spectre of a replay to come. Free kick then, wide on the left-hand side for Sutton United. The goalkeeper's come all the way out. He's just about 8 yards inside his own half. Then right footed will clear that long up towards the edge of the penalty area. Sutton win the ball initially. They knock it on into the penalty area. It's cleared away by Argyle though to this near side for a throw-in to Sutton United, which is going to be taken by Kizzy, who just jogs back. Is this an interesting time for Sutton United? Are they kind of betwixt and between trying to get another goal and actually we're nearly there for a replay and hanging on for what they got? I mean, where are they? Do they go for it, or are they start thinking about, well, we ought to bank up?
No, I think they stay as they are currently. I don't think they want to go throwing bodies forwards. I think they'd be more than happy with a replay currently. So, but it's currently Sutton who certainly have their tails up at the moment.
Ball then with Mikael Miller. Intercepts the ball, then plays it left-footed down the line for Barley Mumba, making some ground. Rolls it infield, right-footed, finds Randall. Randall plays it off to his right for Cundall. Cundall finds Edwards, and then it goes out to the right-hand side for Morgan Whittaker. Morgan Whittaker, will he drop the shoulder and go infield? He won't, but he will find Joe Edwards. Back to Whittaker. Whittaker goes down. The referee says penalty. A nice little bit of interchange there between Whittaker and Edwards and one or two other. The referee, well, for a moment I wasn't sure he'd given a penalty, but certainly he has. And it's going to be Ryan Hardy then who has the ball in his hands, and he spots it up. And this is a chance to restore Argyle's lead in this third round FA Cup tie. 67 minutes on the clock. Big responsibility for Ryan Hardy. And the referee just jogging along the edge of the penalty area, making sure that everyone is where they should be. Ryan Hardy comes up right-footed. The goalie gets a hand to it, went straight down the middle. The keeper got a hand to it, but he moved out of the way very obligingly, and the ball found the back of the net, and it's now Argyle 2, Sutton United 1.
Yeah, it's good build-up play initially. Argyle moved the ball quickly from left to right and found Morgan Whittaker in that space that he likes. Joe Edward offered him an overlapping run. Morgan Whittaker delayed the pass inside, found Joe Edwards, who popped it back to Whittaker, and he was taken out before he could get to the ball back, and then penalty given, and Ryan Hardy slots it into the back of the net straight down the middle. So probably not necessarily what Argyle deserved at that moment in time, but we'll take it, and we'll take being 2-1 ahead.
Well, I guess the ball is back in Sutton United's court. We were just discussing how they were probably happy looking for a replay, and that perhaps, you know, they may have looked good value for that at times, but as we were saying, Morgan Whittaker is a match winner, a match changer, and certainly he was involved down the right-hand side with Joe Edwards. And so Sutton, I guess, have to have a little bit of a rethink now.
Yeah, it's very much a case of Sutton have to take the initiative and try and get on the front foot again and play some attacking football as Brendan Galloway sprays it across to Morgan Whittaker.
And Whittaker plays it into the edge of the penalty area, finds Ryan Hardy, plays it with the outside the backbone. Whittaker, well, I've been defending Morgan Whittaker of late, because that shot is like so far high and wide, and I've been saying for the last few games, you know, when he's done that he's earned the right to do that because of the ones that he does bend in, but I'm starting to see him bending more off target than anything.
Yeah, that one wasn't very close, was it?
No, it wasn't. Goal kick taken then, long upfield, and Sutton will win the ball, and they go through the inside left channel through Coley, and Coley will check back onto his right foot, gets the shot away, it goes into the 6-yard box, and Buterman there, maybe it was a pass for him, but certainly goes to Hazard, and Hazard will bowl that out. Barley Mumba comes away with the ball, right-footed, squares it off to the right-hand side for Joe Edwards, right-footed again down the right-hand side. That's frustrating. It goes slightly behind Morgan Whittaker. He can't collect the ball, and it's going to be a throw-in on the far side for Sutton United. And Argyle, arguably just for a few moments, maybe need to get a bit of possession and run Sutton around for a little while.
Yeah, I think this crowd are a little bit frustrated at times from what they've seen today, but it's just as we said, those small margins that make a big difference, those passes into space rather than behind players, and Argyle then being able to be progressive and playing on the front foot as we win back possession again now.
We do. Cundall plays it infield for Randall. Randall will bump at his back, and he wins the free kick. centre field, just inside the centre circle. And Argyle leading by 2 goals to 1. Then they take the lead in the first half from Luke Cundall, and then another ball over the top. Ryan Hardy won't quite get on the end of that. It looked like it was a long drifting ball over the top. Looked like Ryan Hardy was, but he was certainly cocking his right leg ready to lash that one, but good lift, came across and intercepted the ball while it was still in the air and knocked it away for a corner on the near side. Randall to take it, but for a moment there it looked like Ryan Hardy might be getting in, and we're seeing that a little more as the game has progressed. He had an effort earlier when he got in behind. The corner then, right-footed, across the face of the goal. The ball will drop, will it, on the edge of the penalty area. Argyle will pick it up. Ryan Hardy on the spin with a shot that goes wide of the target. We're starting to see maybe just 1 or 2 cracks that are letting Ryan Hardy in. We saw the effort where it was played over the top and he got in, and the defender did well to come across, and the shot went away, and there, I mean, he was almost in again, but the defender came across. Or am I just bigging up Ryan Hardy and the defenders aren't doing as bad as I think?
No, we spoke about it, didn't we, at half-time, and said, you know, when Sutton are deep and have got bodies behind the ball, it's difficult to break down, but Sutton have been a little bit more progressive in the second half, have got players higher up the pitch, and that allows that space in behind for Ryan Hardy to run into, and you see how dangerous he is in those moments.
Coley on the ball down the left hand side for Sutton United, halfway inside the Argyle half, plays it backwards a square, and then it's poked into the middle for Eastman, and he's right-footed again to the near side for Kizzy, and Kizzy for Eastman. His ball forward is intercepted by Mikael Miller, but Mikael Miller will lose possession momentarily on a ricochet, but it's then played all the way back to Hazard, who can left-footed play a long high ball upfield for Ryan Hardy. The ball cleared forward though by Sutton United. Mikael Miller diving at the ball, and it's again very scruffy. The ball's in the air, Miller came charging in looking to get on the end of it, goes over the top of Jackson. He may have got a touch on the ball that put it into touch on the near side, but certainly it's going to be a free kick for Sutton United on the right hand side. They bring a couple of substitutions for Sutton United. Coley's coming off, and it's going to be Patrick who comes on. And then the players coming on that I've been dreading. Fadahunzi, thank you. Fadahunzi comes on, he's a big unit for them, and a striker. And certainly Patrick is a winger, so maybe they're going to look to try and get the ball in. It's the Argyle, I think the goal scorer has come off, so they just changed their strikers over, but certainly Fadahunzi is a big unit. And he's got the first chance to try and get on the end of the ball as Sutton United angle the ball up towards the edge of the penalty area. They help it on its way, bounces all the way in through for Hazard, who bowls it out to this near side for Barley Mumba, and Mumba, right-footed, will roll that infield. The first time little Liar finds Randall, and Randall bursting through the inside left channel, but he needs some support. He hasn't really got any. He finds Mikael Miller. Miller then is forced infield. He has to go backwards, and that's much to the frustration of the Argyle supporters, but it goes off for Scar down the right hand side. Then Morgan Whittaker on the ball once again, drops the shoulder, comes infield, goes across field, finds Mikael Miller. Miller then centre field, drags it onto his left foot, and he loses possession once again. Sometimes he doesn't seem very strong in possession, but the ball away from Sutton United is picked off by Joe Edwards, up to the edge of the penalty area, gets the shot away, it loops into the air. Edwards is there again, and with the outside of his right boot can get direction but no power, and it drops into the goalkeeper's hands. 74 minutes on the clock. BBC Radio Devon, it's Argyle 2, Sutton United 1 in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Argyle taking the lead on 18 minutes through Luke Cundall after his first effort was saved. Sutton, bright start to the second half, levelling things up through Argyle with a shot from the edge of the area, left-footed, but Argyle restoring their lead on 68 minutes from the penalty spot. Ryan Hardy it was, tucking the ball straight down the centre of the goal, that after Morgan Whittaker had been brought down in the box. The ball then with Hazard inside his own 6-yard box, lays it off to the right hand side for Dan Scarr, still further out to that right hand side for Joe Edwards. He plays it down the line. Morgan Whittaker tries to dummy his way up the line, but he loses possession instead. Patrick on the ball down the left hand side, turns under pressure and loses control of the ball. It rolls into touch on the far side, and I don't know, Katie Middleton, former Plymouth Argyle centre half and captain, this is just a bit too close for my liking still.
Yeah, Sutton are very much in the game still, and those changes they've made, I think they've made at the right time. Argyle's gone off. He had a thankless task for half an hour while Argyle were on top at the beginning of the game, but he worked hard to keep his team in possession when he could, and obviously got the goal to get them back on level terms at the start of the second half. And they've made changes now to freshen things up, and Sutton very much have to get at Argyle now for the last 15 minutes or so of this game to see if they can get an equaliser or more from it.
Hunsley wins it down the left-hand side, plays it infield for Patrick. Patrick into the middle for Beautyman. Beautyman lays the ball off. The shot comes in from Eastman, and it's tame and it's wide. But for a moment there, Sutton United playing it nicely across the edge of the penalty area, and opening Argyle up just for a moment. Argyle now about to make a couple of changes of their own. Joe Edwards goes off, and Kessler Hayden's going to be coming on. Ben Wayne is the other player who's come on, and if Ben Wayne, well, if ever he wanted to make a name for himself, then this is the time. And Ryan Hardy goes off. It's going to be a slightly different approach, I guess, with Ben Wayne. He's not so much over the shoulder and running in behind, but maybe he's the sort of player Argyle need just at the moment where they can get it up to him and maybe hopefully keep possession.
Yeah, Ben Wayne's actually got a fairly good record in cup games so far this season, so as you said, he'll be looking to add to his tally, and he'll be looking to try and get the ball into feet and try and bring the likes of Luke Cundall, Barley Mumber and Morgan Whittaker into the game as much as he can.
Ball played forward, looking for Ben Wayne. It's taken away from him, drops into the midfield for Sutton United, who play it back to their goal. He's under massive amount of pressure. I think that was Randall chasing the ball down, but he gets the Sutton United goalkeeper gets the ball away. Sutton will pick it up once again. Eastman on the ball, tries to play it through the inside right channel for Sutton United, but Galloway's there and turns and plays the ball into touch on the near side. Elsewhere, Exeter 2, Carlisle 0. The fortunes of the Grecians turning around just a little bit, which is good to see. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that at home park, I don't know.
Certainly not.
I thought you were giving me a face then. I shan't say that again. Throw in on the right hand side then for Sutton United. Jackson to take it, hurls it into the penalty area. Argyle get it away through Dan Scar. It drops for Kizzy. Kizzy swings a boot at it. It goes more up than towards the goal, and then it's controlled by Beautyman on the left side of the 6-yard box. He turns, gets a shot, or certainly gets the ball towards the goal, but it's Kessler Hayden who will just block that, and the ball will run into touch for a corner on the left hand side for Sutton United. 12 minutes to go, and Argyle living on their nerves just a little bit. Well, certainly I am. Corner then on the left hand side for Sutton United. It's going to be a left-footed outswinger to the edge of the penalty area, goes all the way through. Argyle through Ben Wayne will feed that into touch on the far side. Ben Wayne, the only one going in the right direction. As everyone else pushed out, he went back just to make sure that someone was there to protect the goal and put it into touch. It's going to be a throw-in though for Sutton United. They'll get it into the penalty area. Argyle though will clear that away, but only as far as the edge of the penalty area for Patrick, but taken off his toes, played up towards halfway, and Jackson is there. Jackson under pressure, plays a little dummy on Ben Wayne, and then off to the left hand side, and Sutton United playing triangles back to their goalkeeper, who comes rolling out of the penalty area, then right footed will clear it long upfield down the left hand side for Sutton United. Argyle will defend that, and the ball now picked up by Milson, and Milson into the edge of the penalty area. It goes backwards out to the left hand side for Sutton United for Patrick, and Patrick rolls at the sole of his boot, gets it onto his right foot, crosses into the middle, won't find Jackson. Argyle will get that away, but it goes back to Patrick again down the left hand side, finds Milson with a longer ball now into the edge of the penalty. Argyle will defend that, but just at the moment every clearance is being picked up by a Sutton United player, but as Kizzy tries to play it forward, it's Barley Mumber who sticks out a boot. The ball drops into touch on the near side. It remains Argyle 2, Sutton United 1. We're coming up to the 80th minute. The ball goes backwards for Galloway, and Galloway tries to clear it to this near side, and gets a little bit of help from Sutton United player as he gets a toe on it, and it drops into touch. Near side throw in then for Argyle. Michael Miller on the ball, looking for a little bit of movement. Barley Mumber comes short. Randall is there as well, and then the throw goes forward, and it's a throw straight, it comes into play and goes straight out of play again. That's a poor throw. So Sutton United then have a chance to hurl the throw in from the right hand side. This is about 25 yards from the dead ball line, wide on the right hand side. Obviously it's a throw in. Jackson then to take it, and we've seen he's got a long throw already. Comes up then, hurls it into the 6-yard box, heads go up. Argyle will defend that initially. It comes back to Jackson down the right hand side, scoops the ball into the middle, nicely taken by Hazard, and Hazard now will be looking for a runner somewhere, but he doesn't have one, and Sutton United get bodies in his way, and the Argyle supporters very frustrated by the lack of progress upfield. But Argyle now will feed the ball out, and they find Randall, and Randall lots of room to run into, and he plays it off to the right hand side. Cundall allows it to go through to Morgan Whittaker, right edge of the penalty area, turns full circle, plays it into the middle for Randall, allows it to run across his body, back onto his right foot, encouraged to shoot but doesn't, and plays it backwards for Cundall. Cundall down the right hand side for Whittaker, and Whittaker will play that backwards, and it's a little loose, and Cundall will have to scamper back to pick the ball up, and he does, and he plays it off for Houghton. Houghton allows it to run across his body, left footed off to this near side for Mikael Miller, and Miller plays it in field for Barley Mumba, makes a nice little run from out to in, and then it goes off for Cundall, who got the goal scoring going, and now it's back with Randall, and Randall plays it full, finds Barley Mumba, and Barley Mumba sway of the hips, trying to find a little bit of room, and he finds Randall, and Randall tries to force the ball forward, but Sutton have been good, you have to say, at squeezing the spaces and the lines this afternoon, and making it difficult for Argyle to make too much headway. And the ball now is played forward by Sutton United, and they get the ball away down the right hand side, and that's a great little tackle coming in from Galloway. Hunzi was in down the right hand side, ready to get the cross in, but Brendan Galloway, who's been good this afternoon, well, you can give me an expert opinion, Katie, but I thought he's looked good this afternoon. He got the challenge in. Yes,
I think that's one of those moments when you make a big tackle, it just gets the crowd up a little bit as well, and can that lift Argyle for this last 10 minutes or so of the game?
Corner then on the right hand side for Sutton United, angled into the penalty area. Kesler Hayden gets it away. Argyle making a little bit of heavy work of getting this up the field. It's going to be picked up by Sutton halfway inside the Argyle half, off to the right hand side, and Sutton are caught offside, and it's going to be a free kick wide on the left hand side for Argyle, who's continued to lead by 2-1. And Argyle make another substitution. Gibson will be coming on for Mikael Miller. I'd imagine this is going to mean a bit of a switch. So Gibson just into the centre of defence, and I would imagine Galloway will then rock out to left back. And do we know? Can you envisage why they've made that change?
Well, it looks as though Gibson's just said to Galloway actually stay inside, and he's gone into left back, but whether Mikael Miller's just got caught out of position a couple of times in the last few minutes, Argyle looking to shore things up at the back and not allow Sutton any opportunities to come forwards.
And Sutton will come forward down the left hand side, they pop it into the midfield, then another ball in for Buteman, left edge of the Argyle penalty area, plays it out to the left hand side for Patrick, onto his right boot, then onto his left, drags it to the dead ball line, clips it across the penalty area. Argyle will defend that, and it comes to the boot of Ben Wayne, who just lifts it to this near side. It's going to drop into touch, and Argyle at the moment just having a little bit of trouble getting the ball out and away from their penalty area too far up the field. Throw in then, Jackson to take for Sutton United down the right hand side. 15,643 people in the stadium this afternoon. At the moment they're seeing Argyle lead by 2-1. We're inside the last 6 minutes. The ball into the penalty area. Argyle can then hammer this away, and that's what they do, and they play it long down the field, down the right hand side as they look at it. The goalkeeper comes out to the left side of the field, gets it onto his right boot, and he's going to hammer this straight back again. The heads go up, and it's helped on its way by Kizzy, and Kizzy's ball will drop on the edge of the penalty area, and Jordan Houghton's there, and Houghton goes to ground under the pressure of Suwamni, and it's going to be a free kick for Argyle, just a chance maybe to just calm things down. They need some experienced heads out there, because at the moment I wouldn't say Sutton are rattling them, but certainly they're causing problems.
Yeah, I think Jordan Houghton's just shown his experience there a little bit on the edge of the box as well. Again, just got his body in across and forced the free kick, and Argyle need to just keep possession and take the sting out of Sutton's tails at the moment.
And that's a nice ball from Randall. Well, it's almost a nice ball from Randall out to the right hand side looking for Morgan Whittaker, but he doesn't find him, and the ball now with Patrick rolls the ball forward. Sutton then looking to try and break. They play it backwards, and Milson will play it over the top down the left hand side, and Buterman stops. I think maybe he thought it was offside, but it certainly wasn't, and the Argyle will now clear the ball upfield looking for Ben Waine. And Ben Waine was nowhere near his man there when he went to ground, and Sutton will win a free kick just inside the Argyle half, and I'm not quite sure why.
No, strange decision there from the referee. I think it's just a little nudge in the back from Ben Waine, and the player fell over about 3 minutes after the initial contact, so poor decision there. Exeter 2, Carlisle 1 elsewhere, so I shan't say anything in case Katie gives him another dirty look. Ball then up towards the edge of the Argyle penalty area. The challenge goes in, and I think that was Kizzy who was trying to get on the end of that one, but it will bounce all the way through and will be a goal kick for Argyle, who also lead by 2-1, and we're inside the last 3.5 minutes. The ball then down the left hand side for Barley Mumba. Mumba then inside his own half, plays it backwards for Gibson, and you're right, I think he's definitely playing in a left back spot, and left footed, tries to clear that across the field, and it only just about makes it to Kesler Hayden. Kesler Hayden plays it forward for Cundall. Cundall, edge of the area, has a chance to turn and then dances his way past a couple of challenges, lays the ball off for Morgan Whittaker, back to Cundall. Cundall off to the right hand side. I can't have a chance for a third here, surely that's a penalty. Neat little exchange of passes. I think that it was Morgan Whittaker in the end darting into the area. He goes down. The home fans want a second penalty, but they're not going to get one. Instead, Sutton have the ball down there right hand side, but Argyle will defend that well through Randall, and Randall will play it infield for Barley Mumba. It's a little wayward. Mumba tries to rescue the situation, but it's picked up again by Sutton United down the left hand side. Milsom on the ball, confronted by Cundall, lays it off to the left hand side for Patrick, and Patrick's effort from distance flies high over the top of the crossbar, and we're coming up to the last 2 and a bit minutes of this game. It'll be interesting to see how much injury time there will be, because there hasn't been a lot of injuries, but we've had a few goals. Yeah, it was be interesting to see that penalty shout back again, because it looked as though Morgan Whittaker had just got himself into the area and was about to get a shot away, and looked like he was pulled back by the arm, and the referee waved that one away. But Sutton throwing everything forwards, and they've got Sawami up front now as well, just looking to get bodies in and around the area and get flick-ons to try and get something out of this game.
Ball rolls to the near side, and it's picked up by Argyle. Galloway, centre of defence, turns, plays the ball back to Hazard. Hazard, left-footed under pressure, will play it longer upfield. It's won by Sutton United, who play it back for Patrick. Patrick alive to the danger and plays the ball with the outside of his right boot just to find some room, but Ben Waine is there tracking back down almost in the right back position, and Patrick is there, and he'll play it backwards to the square, and Sutton now looking like they can play some football. Kizzy on the ball, centre circle, plays it off to this near side for Jackson. Jackson immediately shut down by Barley Mumba, rolls it into the middle. Sutton then looking to build through the inside right channel. They play it down the line, and Brennan Galloway will go to ground and win a free kick for Argyle, which is probably well timed and well bought, if it was bought, because it just eats up a few more seconds as we approach 89.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've seen Brendan Galloway getting back towards his best. He obviously had a lengthy spell out with injury and has come back in, and you know, like you said, he's looked really good today. He's looked composed on the ball when he's needed to. He's got his body in and across and won free kicks and stopped Sutton getting forwards at times. So a really good, positive performance from Brendan Galloway.
Hazard then, left-footed, plays the ball long upfield. It's headed clear by Sutton United. It'll drop in the centre circle. They try to play it off to the right-hand side, and they do. But it's going to be a free kick for Argyle, who will be happy now, I would imagine, just to keep possession and run the clock down. We're in the 90th minute, and we have 6 minutes of extra time. I'm not quite sure where they came from, but we have them. Sutton United about to make another substitution. Argyle though have the ball. Galloway plays it forward. It's laid off first time, but Argyle always seem to be stretching at the moment to get to the ball, and it's Cundall on the ball now, and he plays it off to the right hand side. Is this Morgan Whittaker's moment? He gets the shot away. It is Morgan Whittaker's moment. We've been waiting all afternoon. Cundall out to the right hand side. Whittaker checks inside, may have taken a deflection, but left footed, bent it into the angle of post and bar on the far side, and Argyle safely through now to the next round. Surely it is Argyle 3, Sutton United 1.
We've spoken about that man time and time again, haven't we, and how he gets into those dangerous areas on the edge of the box, and he cuts inside on his left foot, takes a slightly lucky deflection which just loops the ball up over the goalkeeper, but he won't care, and nor do we. We'll take it. It's 3-1 to Argyle, and as you say, hopefully progressing through fairly comfortably to the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Just seen the replay on the border across the other side of the field. We don't seem to have one. I tell you, he's broken. I don't know what he's done to it, Katie. But it seemed fairly clean strike, actually. I've just been waiting for him to do that all afternoon.
After you ridiculed him for hitting Rosehead earlier.
I was just, it was constructive criticism. I was encouraging. I'm going off you rapidly. Especially after the Exeter City. So it's Argyle 3, Sutton United 1. Sutton United certainly have made Argyle work for things this afternoon. Argyle taking the lead in the first half through Luke Cundall. Early in the second half, Sutton United levelling things up through Argyle, but in the end Argyle seemed to be heading towards the fourth round of the FA Cup. It was Whittaker who's made the difference, first as he won a penalty of 15 minutes. Ryan Hardy dispatched that, played it down the centre of the goal. The goalkeeper actually got a hand to it, but it went in, and Milson with a free kick for Sutton United into the area. It's going to roll for Barley Mumber, who could immediately flick that forward for Whittaker, who plays it with the outside of the left boot, plays it back again for Barley Mumber. Mumber will progress down the line, and then just as to recap the goal scoring, as Ben Waine picks the ball off and lays it off. It was a nice ball for it was a ball out to the right hand side for Whittaker. Whittaker doing what he does, drops in the shoulder, came inside and unleashed a shot that found the target, and Argyle now look to be on their way to the fourth round draw for the FA Cup. The ball into the middle by Sutton United. Argyle on the stretch will clear that away. It picked up by Cundall, who scored the first goal of the afternoon. He's under pressure, but he plays it infield for Barley Mumber. Mumber has to pick up a bit of speed and then goes backwards to Hazard, and the pressure comes in from Siwomni. But it's not really pressure of significance, and it's played back to Barley Mumber, who's now in the right full-back's position, and goes out to Hazard. And this is, I guess, what we want to see from Argyle, who actually the extra time seems to be passing quite quickly. We've already had 3.5 minutes, 2.5 to go. Argyle lead by 3 goals to 1. Cundall is on the ball then, down the left-hand side, scoops it in field, but it's going to be Luke Cundall wins the Man of the Match award. Certainly probably deserved, because he does tend to cover every blade of grass whenever I see him play, and he of course opened up the scoring this afternoon in the first half. The ball then with Galloway, left-footed, rolls it across the field to Scar still further out to the right hand side for Kesler Hayden feeds it down for Morgan Whittaker. We've got a time for another goal. Didn't you say 4-1 before the game, Katie?
I might have done.
Just so smug. I'm not working with you again. Corner on the right hand side for Argyle, just closing out the game now, and it's going to be Morgan Whittaker. Won a penalty to restore Argyle's lead at 2-1, then cut infield to unleash one of his specials, which has given Argyle a 3-1 lead, and pretty much Argyle now on their way to the fourth round draw of the FA Cup. The ball then out to the right-hand side for Sutton United. They're playing it down the line. They continue to play throughout, and actually the golfing class doesn't really look like it's been so great. And there's a Sutton try to progress down the left-hand side. Once again, it's Galloway coming in with another sliding tackle to put the ball into touch on this near side. He's pretty much got the Sutton United striker in his pocket at the moment. 85 minutes on the clock, 95 minutes on the clock, and we've got a bit of loose change. We've got 30 seconds of extra time to go, and Argyle looks safely through to the fourth round, barring some sort of miracle. The ball then with man of the match Luke Cundall, who's under pressure, plays it backwards, finds Barley Mumba, drags the ball infield, then spins full circle, and he's just happy to keep possession at the moment. Goes back to Hazard, left-footed, plays the ball upfield. It will elude a couple of Sutton players and Ben Waine, and Waine continues to run off to the right-hand side. Sutton will go longer to the near side. Cundall's underneath that one, drops a little header back into the midfield for Barley Mumba, and Mumba's ball out to the right-hand side will drift into touch. It's going to be a throw-in for Sutton United, and the Argyle fans have seen enough. They're blowing for the referee to blow the final whistle, and certainly that's what he does. And Argyle are safely through then to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Sutton certainly made life very uncomfortable for Argyle, although it was Argyle who took the lead in the first half on 18 minutes. Luke Cundall with a shot that came back off the goalkeeper, and he smashed it in once again. The second half, Sutton very bright in the opening stages, and they levelled things up through Angol, who just found a little bit of room on the edge of the penalty area before shooting through the crowd and past Hazard. But Argyle always had that little bit of class, and that little bit of class, his name is Morgan Whittaker, and a little exchange of passes with Joe Edwards saw him win a penalty which Ryan Hardy dispatched, and then into injury time at the end of the game, Argyle had that little bit of breathing space that they needed. Whittaker cutting in from the right hand side, burying a shot past the goalkeeper to give Argyle a 3-1 win here and a place in the next round of the FA Cup. Before we look at Argyle, a little word maybe about Sutton. I thought they made life hard for Argyle this afternoon.
Yeah, I think you have to give credit to Sutton today. They certainly made life difficult for Plymouth Argyle, and showed that endeavour at the beginning of the second half to get themselves back into the game. And at 1-1 for a long time, you know, it maybe looked as though Sutton were the side that might go on and win it, but as you say, that sort of quality that Argyle possessed in the final third shone through at the end, and maybe somewhat fortunate to finish the game as comfortably as they did, but we'll take that and a spot in the hat for the fourth round.
In the end, it was Morgan Whittaker who made the difference, wasn't it? We were kind of highlighting him before even the commentary started as a player who is a match winner. They've got to keep hold of him in this window, surely.
Yeah, it's got to be a priority, hasn't it, to keep hold of your best players, and Morgan Whittaker is certainly up there as one of those, you know, a player, as you said, who can make a difference, whether that's creating things or whether that's sticking one in the back of the net, as we've seen him do today. But he's always an option. He's an outball for Argyle, and he makes defenders scared about what he's going to do. He can cut inside, he can cut outside, and imperative that we keep hold of him in this January transfer window.
Well, we discussed it at half-time, and he came off in the second half, but Freddie Isaka looks bright. He's one for the future, but I thought he had a good impact on the game this afternoon.
Yeah, I think for a 17-year-old, every minute he gets on the pitch is a minute towards his development, and you know, he certainly didn't look out of place here today. You know, he created opportunities, he linked up well with Hardy down the left-hand side numerous times in the first half, so very promising performance again from Freddie, and many more to come, I'm sure.
Now, you and I have been arguing all afternoon ever since we met, I know. What would Argyle want in the next round? Because to my mind, everyone says, we want a big team at home, but I'd be quite happy to play the littlest team and get to the semi-final and then play a big team.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's one of those, isn't it? Do you try and get a big draw, look to look to get money from a big following, you know, one of the big Premier League teams, or do you try and get another draw like today against Sutton at home, where you can get another decent crowd here and you can potentially progress to the fifth round? So I mean, either way, I think we're just happy that we're in the fourth round draw, and we can look to progress as far as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to see a team progress as far. I'd like to see Argyle progress and lose to Man City in the final. That would be fine. Oh, but there's no point in losing to Man City in the fourth round if you can get all the way through, because every round is finances, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, no matter where we play, we know that we get a decent following, whether that's here at home park or whether that's away. You know, the fans will follow and will go and support the team. So, like you say, if you can get, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th round, quarter-finals, semi-finals, whatever, you know, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic for the club, isn't it? So, yeah, you know, we'll see what the draw brings in the next couple of days, and yeah, see where we're at after that.
I mean, people knock the FA Cup these days. I guess there was a time when it was virtually the only live game on, so that's why it kind of really built up a bit of a following. But I think that the further in you go to the competition, then the excitement really starts to build. We'll be thinking, oh, we're in the fourth round now, and maybe we get the right draw, and we could be in the fifth. And then you start. I mean, '84 when Plymouth met Watford in the semi-final. I mean, I bet that was a great run. I wasn't here for that one, but yeah, the further you go, the more the excitement builds, and the more the FA Cup, I think, takes on some importance.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, you know, you look at a couple of years ago, the hype that surrounded the Chelsea game. You know, fans want you to do well in these competitions and want you to keep sort of driving forwards and progressing as far as you can. And you know, you potentially get the chance to pick yourselves against some of the better teams in the country and see where you're at from a footballing perspective as well. So yeah, the FA Cup is a great opportunity to keep pushing forwards, bringing in revenue, and yeah, building the hype around the club.
Talking elsewhere, drawing 2-2 and Exeter winning 2-1. I guess the other thing, apart from the revenue, if you do play a bigger club, does it stretch a player? Does it improve a player to be playing against someone at a high level? I guess there's always the chance as well that it could just destroy you if you come up against the wrong player on the wrong day. Yeah,
I think, you know, you look at the Chelsea game again a couple of years ago, but I think for our players then, actually we, you know, performed admirably on the day, and man for man they were no better than we were. So you know, it gives the players that confidence as you move through the season, and ultimately that's what Argyle need, is players who are full of confidence, who can do things that will keep them in the Championship this season. But if you can build that confidence from a really good cup run, then you know it stands them in good stead for the season going forwards.
Well, it does. I mean, at the moment Argyle are nicely placed in the league. They're not really struggling. It's never felt like a season of struggle so far. But how much might a cup run actually distract from the bread and butter of the league, and maybe they could fall into a trap of being sucked into trouble?
Yeah, I think it's about, you know, the people away from the pitch, isn't it? The coaching staff and the team around the team, if you like, that, you know, have that job to keep players grounded. Ultimately, the aim for this season is to make sure, come the end of the season, they're a Championship side still. You know, sometimes if you're struggling in the league a little bit, these cup runs give you that little bit of confidence and momentum going forwards that drags you through the rest of the season. So I guess you can look at it from both ways, really, but ultimately they'll be happy today that they've won the game and are through to the next round.
What might Ian Foster, the new manager, have taken from looking at this today?
I think he'll be looking to iron out a few mistakes, areas that they certainly could have done better. They found themselves under pressure at the start of the second half, and at that time, you know, they needed probably those calm heads on the ball to just maintain possession a little bit better, which didn't happen very well. When we just kept inviting pressure on us, and you know, that gives Sutton a little bit of confidence again going forwards, and you know, they equalised, and then you think, oh, are they going to push on and win the game? So you know, there are certainly areas that he'll look at, but then, you know, on the flip side again, you take the likes of Morgan Whittaker and the opportunities we created, and you know, Ryan Hardy was through on a couple of occasions, the ball just wouldn't sit for him to get shots away. So you know, certainly things to work on, but lots of things he'll be positive about, and moving forwards, players that he'll see he can, you know, keep building their confidence, keep you know, developing them as much as he can to get a winning side here at Argyle.
And that might involve bringing players in. Certainly we've lost Finn Azaz in in this window already. Obviously, the Villa recalled him, sold him to Middlesbrough. Where might Ian Foster be looking to strengthen his side? I mean, Finizaz will be a big player to replace.
Yeah, I think we probably are a little bit light in that sort of true number 10 role where Finizaz played. It's a tricky one because you're not sure whether Cundall's going to be here or not. Is he likely to get recalled? Who knows? Then you've probably only really got Callum Wright, maybe Tyreek Wright, who can play in that area. So it's all about just filling the areas that he thinks we need to develop, and it's up to him now for the next month or so to get him what he can.
It is, and they'll be able to offer an FA Cup tie in the 4th round to whoever he manages to get through the door. Argyle then safely through this afternoon. Certainly Sutton United making life very difficult for Argyle, who took the lead in the first half through Luke Cundall. Sutton came out strongly, levelled things up, but Morgan Whittaker's influence saw Argyle through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. It's finished Argyle 3, Sutton 1.